Good evening. It is Thursday. It is time for the What If Round Table. We are going on a Thursday today. I am MasakoX. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion video. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out after the stream. I am joined by Haverok.
Hello.
And we now welcome back after what, like 2 weeks? Probably the first time this decade, even. It's Sophie B.
Hello. It's great to be back.
She's back, guys.
Yeah, so what were you up to?
I was doing a very long road trip out to Texas to attend PAX South with some friends. It was a nice trip and a good learning experience, and lots and lots of driving. But it was an enjoyable time, and I got to do a lot of interesting things and see a lot of interesting things at the con. Hang out with some family on the way, hang out with some friends. It was good. It was good.
Lovely, awesome. Well, okay, that's good. That's good to say. But Haverok, how have you been? Have you been since the last stream, which was, I think, Kakarot, when I was having to fight against Vegeta 5 times.
Oh yeah. You know, next time
that could have been all avoided if I actually had healing items. So I'm like,
yep.
No. Oh man, if only I brought a Vita drink with me in the actual fight, I'd have actually won him. I'd have whomped.
I'm fine. Like the weather is getting kind of heavy on me. We got the first snow that year, but it melted out almost immediately. So yeah.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
But okay, but no matter. Yeah, it'll be okay. I mean, snow's pretty to look at though. But what's also pretty to look at is your what if suggestions, and basically what the purposes of this is. If you've not been to a what if roundtable before, and whoa, okay. Well, just what Nerd King's done, Red Dragon, and a lot of people have, these are super chats, because we do get a lot of people in the chat, and this does help contribute towards the channel. You're really doing us a service that we can continue to make nerdy predictions for months to come. And basically, yeah, what all everyone else has done, leave a super chat, this gets priority. It just means that we get to see it because it goes by really, really quickly. Even with slow mode on at 30 seconds. So it's like, yeah. So if you want to see something, do leave it. And also, do be patient because it does take a while to get through. Red Dragon is our moderator, as well as Sophie and Haverok. But yep. Red Dragon will be able to tell you what to do. And we'll have a cutoff point, but that'll be worked on. And Seth, don't worry if you can't donate at the moment. It's totally fine. Just enjoy the day. And have some ideas for what if yourself. But let's get started with the Nerd King with well over $100 donation. Wow. Thank you so much, Nerd King.
Yeah.
He's almost like a patron.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, it's my birthday next month, so I wanted to make a big donation now and save later. I'm not going to do a request of vid as it would be stingy, but I want to say thanks for your vids when my mum had cancer. The what ifs helped me get through. Oh, you guys won. Well, here's to you, Nerd King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To you and
you
your
very
mom.
much.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Say hi to your mom from the crew.
Yeah.
Of the round
Hi, Mrs. Nerd King.
Please.
Hello.
Yeah, no, but it really is appreciated. It means that we can keep on going, we can keep on entertaining you, being humble, being British, overloading you with ridiculous puns, because that's pretty much what I do. I've come to accept that now. People now do accept, hey, Masako, you're in your mid-30s, but you're becoming old. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you still watch. You still wait for the puns. You want to see how we've done Raddatz good. Oh, and I'm looking forward to Saturday with the What If Goku Black turned good. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
gosh.
I'm really happy with that story.
He will be
Goku
there.
Black turned good, huh?
He will be there in 60 years, you know, with Master Roshi like beard, and he will be like. That was more like a Yoda laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, but yeah, Nerd King, thank you so much, and do enjoy the day, and happy early birthday to you. So
yeah.
Podo kicks
Indeed,
us off
happy
with,
birthday!
Yay! Podo kicks us off with saying, oh, by the way, Nick Rag, thank you very much for becoming a member. You can also become a member. That does help out the channel as well. Podo, instead of bringing Boo's egg to Earth, why didn't Shin take it to Beerus's world to have him destroy Boo in the first place? Well, I think I can answer that almost immediately. Shin, if he can help it, does not want to actually fraternize with Beerus at all, because he is scared of the guy.
Also, at the time, he didn't knew Beerus existed, because he's a dum-dum and doesn't know how his own work even works.
Can you tell that Haverok doesn't really like Shin?
Yes.
I think Haverok has less of a dislike of Shin and more of a dislike of the poor approach to writing Shin.
Yeah, instead of like chagrin, it's more like shingrin. Seriously.
As a kid, I really liked
God.
him. Oh my, yeah. I just got the plan.
Is that what we're doing right when I come back?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you missed a lot of possible mass slaps.
Yeah, massisms we call them. But
yeah,
I'd say pretty much in short, Shin is a dum-dum, bit of a coward, doesn't really want to work with Beerus if he can help it. White Oak 019 comes in. What if Giran, not Jiren, joined Z Fighters? He's talking about the big tubby pterodactyl dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool. It would actually be interesting to have someone who's an anthropomorphic character instead of just a human or humanoid.
Especially that there is the whole race of those people, so you can write a lot of interesting plot points of them and give him his own power-ups, you know?
Yeah, seriously. And like all dino-themed puns, it'd be amazing. Seriously. No, we're absolutely digging that, White Oak.
I will make you extinct.
Oh, God.
What kills
Save
the
me,
dinosaurs?
please.
The Ice Age.
Save me, please.
And then basically, if Goku's, oh, hey there, man, I'm gonna kick your ass. And then Goku's sick.
Oh, God.
You know it.
Make it stop.
Alright, we'll go on to Red Dragon now. What if Gohan wished to join his father in space after the Namek fight against Frieza? Father-son quality time, even if Chi-Chi's against it. Now, I know that you two were talking about this quite a lot. You got quite excited by this, so do tell us your findings.
So if you want to start? Yeah.
Well, I mean, first things first. Okay, so I immediately thought I completely blanked on the fact that the question involved wish, i.e., probably using Shenron, the Eternal Dragon, in this case. So I was thinking, well, that would be difficult. He'd have to go into space, which would result in him probably winding up accompanying Vegeta, which would have been interesting to me because he would have spent all of those months with Vegeta, but never actually finding his dad. But then, of course, there's the issue where, but he wishes with Shenron, so basically he'd wind up showing up just on the planet with his dad on Yardrat. And you guys know a bit more because you're following the manga a bit more closely than I am about the Yardrat training and stuff like that Goku does while he's there. So you'd be more qualified to talk about that.
Yeah, Gohan would take insane gains of this training. Chichi would be mad, but I think once he returned, he would have better, mind and body balance, I believe.
Oh yeah, and because that's one of the things that Gohan really struggles with, and that is the fact that he is very lacking when it comes to clarity and balance with his life. Because if he can get this from an early age, he'd be set for the rest of his life. It would pay dividends when he was older. Oh yeah, no, Red Dragon.
I'm writing this. I love this.
Apparently, according to Red Dragon Force, Paronga would be the dragon that was used to make the wish with.
Yeah.
I see you, Red Dragon. Thank you.
Well, that's good to know. All right. Okay. Red Dragon's again saying on behalf of Saiyan Heretic, what if Frieza was reincarnated as a human female post-Cell arc? Me, basically the same age as Trunks and Goten too, if I'm reading it correctly. Okay, Azir. It's time for Azir. Azir returns and is a little girl.
Should I be quoting Krillin from DBZA right now?
Go on.
Did anybody else just imagine Frieza with boobs?
Really?
No, just me. Really?
Yes. He must
never know.
Oh, well. It'd be very interesting, and I would be very... and I would want to include the line of the parents going there, "Oh, who's my pretty pink princess?"
Yeah, but like she would have to be a totally daddy's girl. Like she should be born to like a spoiled rich family.
Yes,
you know?
of course, always has to wear white and purple.
Yeah.
Oh God, an Ojo human female Frieza.
Oh, dude. Oh man. Oh, dude. Well,
It's kind of brilliant.
It'd be very, very interesting. And basically, she has an aversion to monkeys. She's scared of monkeys.
Yeah, for some reason.
Scared of monkeys and doesn't eat pizza.
And saw blades.
Oh, of course. Alright, let's move on.
And exploding planets, but that's a pretty universal fear, I feel.
I don't think many people like that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Paparazzi here's here. What if Gohan wound up on the Infinity Train?
Oh.
Was ist the Infinity Train?
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the Infinity Train?
It's a cartoon. It's like a Cartoon Network thing. I think it's done by some crew like who worked on regular show.
Okay.
I
I am unfamiliar with that. I have no knowledge of that. Now I feel like I should probably get some knowledge.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we can really answer that, Paparazzi.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately,
Yeah.
not. So, we couldn't answer it satisfactorily. We'll have to be honest.
We'll have to come back to it
We'll
at a
come back
different
to it.
time after.
We shall come back to it. Red Dragon Force 2. What if... And Paparazzi immediately comes in with another chat saying, "Watch Infinity Train." Yes, sir.
Yes,
we
will do.
We will.
Yes, Mr. Ratcha.
Yes. Yes, Papa.
Yeah. Red Dragon Force 2 comes back in. What if Gohan got lost on his way home from Piccolo and found and drank the Ultra Divine Water by accident? Potential extras EB early, maybe? Well, the thing is, though, about this is that it kind of depends, because the Ultra Divine Water is actually almost psychosomatic, as in, like, it's what you are supposed to, what you think it is. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like a placebo effect sort of situation.
Basically, Korin goes like, "Well, Goku, if you drink this, if you're worthy enough, then basically you'll live. If not, you'll die. No pressure there, then." So basically,
well, and there's also supposed to be this whole test in order to get to the Ultra Divine Water. That's supposed to increase your just by doing the test, you increase your strength, which is part of the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, to say for the sake of argument, basically, if you drank it and not knowing what it was, it would just be water.
Yeah.
Gohan would just basically just go like, "Well, that's weird. It's just boiling water." Huh. Unfortunately, not. So. It'd be basically, Gohan would just describe it to Goku eventually. He said, "Oh, this one time I drank water. Really? It had this symbol. Oh, what happened to you? Nothing." And it's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, so that's what the lesson meant. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
If only I knew that back then.
This one time I drank water.
This one time I drank water in a pot that had a weird symbol.
With a cat. I think it was a cat bowl.
White Oak 19.
Oh my gosh.
What if the universe is in the Tournament of Power with the Shonen universe? Okay, so basically if it was like a Shonen Jump multiverse thing. Well, we'd actually have something called Jump Force.
No.
Jump Force, but good.
Oh, yeah.
Jump Force.
Gotta add that qualifier.
So with actual realistic teeth. That was scary.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't want to see my Frieza with realistic teeth. Only the cartoony teeth.
Well, basically, just play J-Star's Victory Versus, really. Pretty much it's like that. That's really it, to be honest. Nier Automata basically just says JoJo wins. Well, yeah, it depends. Depends if you basically just have, like, if you have either the World or you have King Crimson, then pretty much you're done. Manifestos next. I feel sad that Perfect Cell lost so anticlimactically in Tuesday's What If. Wouldn't it be possible to have the Cell games within that? I guess Slow and Steady didn't win the race, huh? Yeah, I know what you mean, Manifesto. When I was writing that part, I was a little bit sad that I knew that it was pretty much going to be like Cell would be toast. But at the same time, I just didn't want to do the same old thing of, oh, every single time we must have the Cell games. No, it just goes to show that this time, Cell trying to be patient did not work out well for him. And basically, it's almost like if you didn't know Dragon Ball Z existed, you would say, "Ah, yes, I am Perfect Cell. I am ready to be very intimidating and very good-looking in front of these Saiyans. Ah, Goku, Gohan, I'm ready to..." Pretty much like a PyCon situation right there. I did love the, I love the line in the dub where it says, when he's talking about PyCon, "Don't worry, he'll soon be dealt with. I'm the one who killed him, remember?" just that smudge, like, I'm the one who killed him. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I wanted just to do something a little different, to be honest. And yeah,
because,
me being
you know,
biased.
guys...
I love Cell. I love Perfect Cell. So it was a bit galling for me to do that.
Yeah, you need to remember, guys, that sometimes you need to juggle things around, even if it means to kill some villains earlier, because you don't want to see, you know, those what ifs that become just the same bullet points over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. You know? I'm trying to like speed things up, basically. So you know, just to kind of make things a little bit more varying it up a little bit, whilst also staying true to my original message. But anyway. But Manifesto, I do understand. I do get what you're saying. Paparazzi, what if Roshi found Kakarot? Oh, he'd have. He'd have a perfect little emissary to try and like get some, get some girls.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't see Roshi raising a baby, to be quite honest.
Oh no! Can you imagine him? He'd get a pram. He'd basically get a pram, stick Goku in it, and basically just be like, "Hey, ladies, I hear you like someone with a bit of a sensitive side."
But that's guaranteed if Goku, hit his head.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, knowing Roshi, Goku could have ended up with Gohan anyway. He's like, "Take it, you're better with kids than I am."
True. Yeah, so basically, if Roshi found Kakarot, just give it to Grandpa Gohan in a way.
Maybe he would try to do what you said, but he couldn't control
try
him.
it, but then he would give it to Gohan when he realized it didn't work. It requires more than just the baby to get the babes. Yeah, alright. Clay McDaniel. What if Kami never defused? Well, that's an easy one. Basically, world would be... Yeah, the world would be basically destroyed. Because basically, the reason why Kami, the Nameless Namekian had to split, or cut us, was basically he was being torn apart and there was an evil, with Garlic Sr. He basically had no other choice but to split, to being able to, like, make sure that he didn't, put the world in jeopardy. So, yeah.
There's a distinct chance that he wouldn't have gotten the job and may have even harmed himself in the...
Yeah, exactly. So basically, Garlic Sr. might have actually been the winner. But yeah. Hannah Rowan. What if Goten became a Super Saiyan 2 when Buu killed Chichi? How could this affect the series and especially Goten later on? I forget. Did Buu actually do that in front of Goten? I can't quite remember.
I think he did, because...
Yeah.
Oh. Well, in either case, I'm surprised in a way that, with Goten... It should have done. And honestly, that would have been a real surprise. And also, it would have actually made up for the fact that Trunks won the tournament. So it actually would show them as equals in a way. Or that they both respect one another. That would have actually been a really good plot point. Yeah, I mean, Goten probably wouldn't have been able to do much. Do much in the grand scheme of things. But it would almost be a good leveler to Trunks. It's like, hey, Goten's no pushover. So I think this could affect the series for the better.
Knowing Trunks was like, "Come on, make me angry, kill my mother." What? Mom! It's not your business.
Oh, no.
It is very much my business, Trunks.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. Oof. Big oofs there. But Hannah, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Dylan64. What if you guys wrote a filler arc? What kind of story would you like to write? Well, that's easy. R&R. R&R is basically filler, if you want to take a look at it from a DBZ point of view.
Yeah.
But it's good filler.
Basically.
It's wholesome filler. It's nice, warming porridge filler in the winter. It's
good,
enough to make
clean,
you feel like,
fun.
Yeah, it's enough to make you just go, "Oh, that was nice." That's what I want from my videos. I don't want to be sensationalist. I just want people to come away from it going, "Oh, that was nice. I like that. That was cool."
Yeah, absolutely. I think
yeah.
on a personal level, I think I would want to have explored. I think I would have wanted to explore the whole like high school scenario for Gohan a bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's so interesting, you know, the whole like superpowered teenager in high school thing. It's commonplace in other shows, but for Dragon Ball Z, we don't often see that human element except as kind of like a joke. And Gohan is such a fish out of water, being among ordinary, typical city kids, that it makes for an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the characters like Videl or like Erasa and Sharpner. So I just think that would be interesting to explore myself.
Yeah. No, honestly, that would have been really cool. Like, say Gohan goes to like a high school party and stuff like that. You know, and actually socializes where power doesn't really matter, and it just shows Gohan being socially awkward. Good level up.
Can you imagine what would have happened if Gohan had gone to one of those parties that so many high schoolers have, where everything like seems like it's on the up and up, but then it turns out somebody spiked the punch, and then just like Gohan having drunken shenanigans because he's never had alcohol in his life before.
And as we know, Gohan isn't good with alcohol.
No, that's true.
Yeah, we know that for a fact. Thank you, Dead Zone.
Thanks, Nikki.
Well,
I hope you packed your bags, kid, because you're about to go on a trip. That was weird to record for. And then just all like the manic things, and then just Gohan just listlessly there, just go, just like there. It's like oof. Yeah. No, absolutely. Red Dragon Force 2. Andres Moreto says, what if Femku was a gearhead? Steampunk setting except cleaner. Steam, gear, plant-based tech, no lasers. To be honest, if she was more of a mechanic, like in the eyes of like what Bulma would do, that would be kind of cool. It would be cool. It'd be very different to what Goku's usually like, but, you know, I could see it working.
I could definitely see it working, especially with how you guys have done Boxa in your in your what if Goku was raised a Capsule Corp situation. Like, I think it would add an interesting dynamic because Bulma is very, very much she's very much more on the inventor side of things. You know, I'm sure that she's 100% mechanically apt, but she's always trying to invent the next newest piece of technology. And if she had a friend like a Fem Goku who was mechanically inclined, I think that they would be able to kind of like mesh a lot more than Goku and Bulma typically do, because while they are still, you know, best friends, they don't actually have a whole lot in common as far as the show goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much succinct, really. Yeah, nice. Alright, Tristan Poland. What if Goku really wanted Krillin to off Vegeta? Depends on the context, but basically... Oh, of course, in the Saiyan Saga. So basically, if Goku's... Well, he just would not say anything. He just let Krillin do it. Basically.
Yeah.
He just basically just kind of...
Which
Which
would have caused problems later on.
Yeah.
It would cause problems later on. I mean, I would...
Means no trunks.
I play the sound, but that's too obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, cause problems later on. Short-term catharsis, though. Blast Ice Studios. What if Cooler had the Saiyans instead of Frieza? Well, he wouldn't have blown up the planet, certainly. Or, if he did, then he would have... We've said this a few times. He would at least pick out the strongest Saiyans he could, and then take them for his armored squadron, and then blow the planet up.
Yeah.
But I think
I also think that Cooler would have... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just going to say, I think Cooler would have been more pragmatic about it as well. First off, doing a better job at making it seem as if he was not at fault for the destruction of Planet Vegeta.
Yes.
But also, I think he would have understood, like, if I have a few of these Saiyans, or if I have a few of these Saiyans, maybe even some of their like genetic material, maybe he could do something with that further down the line. I mean, we already know that stuff like cloning technology and the kinds of like biological repair that you can accomplish with a healing tank, all that kind of science is available to the Frieza Empire.
Yeah.
So I feel like Cooler would have thought like many more steps ahead of Frieza and not just letting the whole like rage get the better of him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, this one thing is that Cooler is very pragmatic, and I think probably the reason why that Frieza was made was because probably Cooler was too pragmatic, like too conservative in a way, whereas King Cold wanted.
Frieza is more predictable in a way from King Cold's perspective.
King Cold didn't want an exact copy; he wanted the ultimate like ruler. Well, basically, he didn't want to. I didn't want to just basically make a copy of myself. I do it. I do the work. So, Paparacha. What if Goku found and accidentally drank from the Fountain of Youth after the 21st Budokai, leaving him a selectively immortal child? Okay, well, he'd just be immortal without even knowing it, basically. He'd grow to adulthood and then stay there. But to be honest, okay. So, he does the whole thing and he would find out when Raddatz shows up, basically. So basically, they do the thing. Goku thinks he has to sacrifice himself. He basically gets that special beam cannon in the stomach, and then basically he gets up and goes like, "What? I'm not supposed to be alive."
Piccolo would get a mental breakdown at this point.
Piccolo would be, "Oh my God! I just want to win." Well, yeah, Gohan.
I shot you right in the guts. Why are you still up?
I have no idea. Oh, give me a big fat break. Had to.
That would be, basically stakes would be even smaller.
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally. Yeah, absolutely, pretty much. It'd be a very interesting revelation, but yeah.
And as we know, Goku loves his steaks.
Yeah. Paparacha again. No, it's not Paparacha again. Anime Guy 01. What if after the Elder Kai gave Goku his life energy, Goku became part Kai?
Then Vegeta would be permanent.
Yeah, if he was considered part Kai after getting the life energy, then Vegeta would have been permanent.
Yeah, or at least absolutely. So, or at least it'd be sticking more. But we don't know the inner mechanics of that specifically. But let's just say for the sake of argument, Vegeta would be permanent, but Goku had no idea. He'd just be saying, "Oh, it's just temporary." And then basically, oh
2 months later.
Yeah, something along those lines. Isaiah Fraser. With DragonBallZ, what if Raddatz's whole team, Ricelo, Turles, and Raddatz, managed to hold out until Vegeta and Nappa arrived? Well, Raddatz would have a lot more friends, that's for sure. And then basically they could train together in theory, and then ultimately, if they don't like Vegeta and Nappa, they could do some mutiny and run away. You basically just have a bunch of Saiyan bandits across space. Yeah,
it's interesting too, because that would make their numbers total up to 5, which would mean that they'd have this whole kind of like a mirror, almost a Saiyan mirror to Frieza's Ginyu Force. So I feel like they would almost feel like they'd be able to get the upper hand, which would actually make Raddatz's search for Goku all the more important. So he may have wound up not being the only one to show up on Earth that day, and it could have. Yeah, that could have significantly altered things.
And you know what else? It is also connected to the Super Saiyan God ritual, because we have 5 Saiyans.
Yeah.
More people. Much more.
They would try attempt it early on. That would be funny.
Ooh, okay. No, that's intriguing. Okay, that's absolutely fun. And Chancellor, thank you very much for becoming a Master Love member. Thank you. Heartless Fang. What if Masako's dad jokes gave him more power?
They do. You have no idea.
Then Zeno would be trembling in fear right now.
He became too powerful. We cannot contain him, guys. We cannot contain him.
The only thing is that I am not a dad yet. not a dad, but maybe in a couple of years we'll see. But yeah, I'm basically desperate just to be. I remember there was this artist on Twitter called Tipin. She drew a picture of Raddatz with a baby ranch, like a really tiny baby, and Raddatz is just like quivering. It's like, look at her, she's just so small. It's just like, and I'm like, I'd be like, but this is just so small. Ugh. I no joke, with my nephews, I was terrified holding them as a baby because it was like,
oh yeah,
I didn't know. Plus, it's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
I may be related to them in a way as their uncle, sorta, but I'm like, still, I don't want to anger my, now sister-in-law. Yeah, we didn't know how, like that. It's like, but if it's your own kids, you can just chuck them around. Everything's fine. But then
Lawrence MasakoX Simpson 2020. If it's your own kid, you can just chuck them around. It's fine. Put that on a t-shirt.
No, the limitations, and they know the limitations and stuff like that. It's actually fine.
Yeah, you can toss the kids around. It's
sorry,
fine.
Sorry, I apologize, Sophie. That was my Goku showing. My mistake.
A little baby concussion never did anything bad to a baby, which DragonBallZ shows
us. It's okay. Those kids, they bounce back.
Haverok comes to visit and then sees our kid having got like a bandage on his head, and it's just like, what's going on with that? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, let's move on. All right, what if the Kai tree bore fruit and Shin had 4 supreme babies to take after in Super? I think.
Oh my god, I love this.
Sacred World of the Kai's Protection Services.
That would make him basically like they jump out, I think, adult, but if they jump out as a babies, that could be a great filler for Shin, and like retconning this would be actually kind of good, and teaching Shin responsibility. That would be actually kind of cool.
In a way, in a language he'd understand.
Go Sophie, sorry, because
it would be a popular filler too, because if there's one thing that I've seen on the various different fanfic websites that I have frequented in my time, it is that everybody loves a good adult reborn as a child arc or turned into a child arc. So if you have these adults trying to raise these Kai children born from the tree, the fruit of the tree and stuff like that, especially if they're like Supreme Kai children, even going so far as to be like, okay, well, like Majin Buu got reincarnated. Let's assume that the pure souls from within Buu have been set free or whatever, and now they can be reborn on the Kai tree. Now you've got these 3, 4, however many, depending on how you want to interpret that, because I guess there's a whole thing in the manga right now with the Grand Supreme Kai. But there's so much potential there for shenanigans, and it would just be the fun sort of lighthearted but simultaneously hilarious stuff, because Shin is not prepared to deal with children.
Absolutely not. He's a child himself.
And he forces Beerus into helping him, and that would be amazing to see 3 of them trying to raise those children.
Yeah.
They have to, because they're the gods. It's like, why don't we just get Goku and Vegeta to do this? We can't do that, Lord Beerus. It's our responsibility as divinities.
Like, who said that? My father. Oh, and I think this rule is very wise. And fair.
Oh, man. Alright, let's move on. We're getting bogged down here. But that is a very funny idea, to be honest. Make a note of that, Haverok. That's Manifesto. What if Perfect Cell took over the Freezer Force after the Tournament of Power, if he was the 10th member, and then found Broly and Paragus? Could you picture that any better? I can imagine maybe Perfect Cell just goes like, ah, yes, well, I'm perfect. I can do a better job than that Cell. Basically, if they're the odd couple, right? And it's like, now I get to play with Frieza's toys. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Well, basically, I think he just run the Freezer Force the Freezer inside of him would just basically almost know exactly what to do. Pretty much.
And he'd do it until he got bored, at which point he'd be like, I'm bored now, you're boring me. And then he'd just end them.
He'd just go like, alright, starting again. And all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I imagine that totally. Paparazzi again. What if Azir was Bulma and Vegeta's daughter? Man.
Oh God! So
Irony.
instead of Bulla, we wind up with Frieza reincarnated.
Oh man. Oh, ironic punishment. Frieza, you are
Oh.
reborn as half Saiyan. It's like no.
Could you imagine, like, oh my God?
Oh no, King Yama basically goes like, Frieza, for all the kind of things that you've done, you get to be born as a monkey baby. No.
But imagine Vegeta's reaction to finding out. Like, at first he's all like super doting on his daughter and stuff like that, because obviously he loves Bulla in canon. We know he's a total softie for his daughter.
And then Dende
and
goes,
then he
Dende
finds
goes
out.
Like, you want to be the one to tell him, or shall I?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how like conflicted Vegeta would be if he found out that his daughter carried the soul of Frieza?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And even the best thing about this, like if Frieza was aware of this as a baby but lost the memory of his old life when he grew to toddler.
No, but the baby basically has the proclivity to basically always go after rosé wine. Like anytime rosé wine asks, the baby would just like reach over to it and go.
And crabs. And crabs.
And crabs, yes.
Oh my God.
And basically would be really, and every time Goku would appear, she'd just cry like in crazy. She'd go like, she'd basically bawl her eyes out. Like, that kind of thing.
And at first Vegeta just thinks that she's taking after him because he doesn't like Kakarot either.
Yeah. That's my girl.
So, and Paparazzi says again, "We're genetically trained. Don't worry, we will when we get a chance." And White again. Now, what if Kui followed Vegeta and Nappa to Earth? Well, I imagine that Kui probably would be just spying on them and stuff like that. And if they then decide to basically just like ignore orders, Kui would just tell like. Basically, there'd be no hiding from the Frieza Force, so basically, Frieza would just be hearing this and go, right, okay, Vegeta is now a threat. I'm going to come to Earth and give him a piece of my mind. So, Frieza might have shown up a bit earlier. So, yeah, I think pretty much that, really. Red Dragon Force 2. Andres Morero says, what if Dr. Jiro took Suno after events of Muscle Tower, transformed her into an android, but placed her in stasis and protected by darkness? Oh.
It would be fun because, again, it's like with all the other, like, what if Goku's friends were kidnapped and turned into android scenarios sort of situation where you have a much larger personal stake in the identities of the androids, you know? It makes it an interesting scenario because of the fact that you have to deal with the idea that, well, I can't just beat this person until they're dead. I can't just destroy them. They aren't just a machine, which they kind of do already anyway. But now it's so much more personal because it's like, this is someone who was my friend. This is a violation of them, and in turn a violation of me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. So no, that's really succinct. I agree with that wholesale. Alright, Zero plays games. What if Gohan unlocked Super Saiyan in response to Goku's heart virus, thinking his father was going to die? Also, hope the New Year's been well. Well, I think at the time, it's just like, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense in a way. But I think, for the sake of the story, so basically, if Gohan unlocked Super Saiyan, it's a really hard thing to do, but I don't think Gohan was quite strong enough to be able to do it at that time.
And the thing that you must remember, like, I think that, Goku dying out of heart virus would be a prolongated time of stress instead of like a spike of the anger, like this would go over the time.
But basically, if Goku had the heart virus happen and then 19 had successfully killed him, then that might have happened. So basically, there might have been a chance to save Goku, but that was taken away. Then that would have been more poignant, and that might have had a better chance for Gohan to suddenly explode. In that regard.
Yeah.
There needs to be more peril, because as you say, it's more of kind of like...
like Jiro destroying medicine or something, yeah.
No, exactly. Evangelion Shimotoki. I asked last week, but what if Demon King Piccolo's wish for youth also affected Kami, and made him more involved in the fight against him? And another what if, Vegeta regretted killing Nappa. Okay, well... But, well, with the Demon King Piccolo's, basically, if he became youthful, Kami would also be youthful. And I imagine there'd be some way of like, I imagine it would just mean that Kami would just feel more likely to. I think nothing would really happen in the long term, but it probably would mean that the rivalry between Piccolo and Kami would be even more intense. And I think Kami would be less inclined to fuse with Piccolo in the Cell Saga. Like, the stalemate would have been happening for a little longer because, you know, Kami gives up because, like, I am 300 years old and I cannot go on anymore. And that kind of stuff. He basically gives up, whereas the younger Kami would probably just be quite bolshy. But if they did fuse, he'd probably be... Piccolo would be even stronger.
Yeah.
Probably. Like, no, I think Piccolo would have actually bodied Cell.
Yeah. And the other thing is that, you know, Piccolo could be... Like Kami and Piccolo could body heads more initially. But I think they will find understandment earlier.
Eventually. No, I'd say so. Okay. Right. And the what if Vegeta regretted killing Nappa? Well, I think he kind of did in a way. Like, but it was more out of pity. It's like, oh yes, that was a shame. You kind of got that moment in GT when Vegeta just off Nappa again. It's like, oh yes, you were a little pathetic, weren't you?
You would have basically, like, you know, those scenes of Vegeta looking sadly at his reflection in the Saiyan pod, and Ain't No Sunshine would play in the background.
And also, if Ghost Nappa came, it's like, Nappa, I am so sorry. It's okay, Vegeta. It's alright. I'm haunting you now. I will always be with you. Always. Thank you, Nappa. It's all right. As time goes by. All right. Guardian Tree. What if Chichi found Piccolo when he hatched and he becomes like her adopted brother? Ox King trains them maybe while Goku trains with Kami. Oh, okay. Well, Piccolo when he's born, he is still pretty evil. Not as evil as King Piccolo. But basically, if Chichi couldn't overpower him, then, you know, she'd be very much at risk of getting herself killed.
But come on, Masako. We know the Ox King's power level now.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, basically... Piccolo Jr. would be basically constantly trying to kill Chichi to be the favorite. And Ox King would be like, no, that's a bad green little man. You're not no trying to murder your sister. Yeah.
yeah, but he would be that little man for a pretty short amount of time. Also, you know, I'm pretty sure Piccolo knew what he was from the beginning.
Oh yeah, he did. He knew exactly who he was. So basically, it really does depend. So yeah, interesting thought though. Nick Rag says, "What if King Kai taught Kaioken to Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu how to push Piccolo? Would that keep them more relevant? Oh, you bet your sweet bippy it would. Like, seriously, if they knew Kaioken, like, you know, I would get the feeling that Yamcha would be the one to overdo it. It's like, no way, man, I could do Kaioken way more, and then basically does it and gets himself injured. Like,
I think that would be the way he would...
Kaioken times 20, cut to the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It's like...
I think this would be the way how he would lose to Jiro instead of just going, you know, getting
Yamcha. He goes Kaioken and overdoes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
He would do some damage to the good old doctor, I feel like. At least knock out.
Basically, he would end up still like tearing himself apart almost.
Yeah, it would be one of those sort of like, even if he got victory by that point, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. You know, the damage would be done.
No, absolutely. Goku Black does the super chat. Thank you. Brendan Little. What if Pilaf held on to his grudge towards Goku and tried to team up with Vegeta by being his training manager to get back at him? How long would it be before Pilaf is reduced to his whipping boy? Oh, 10 seconds.
Yeah, like I don't even know if Vegeta would even be willing to accept somebody who would immediately, you already know, Pilaf's immediately gonna rub him the wrong way. And he wouldn't accept him as a training manager, considering the fact that Pilaf himself is, well, I mean, he's a weakling. And Vegeta's not gonna respect that.
You remind me of certain little person I knew that also like to be very powerful, except you are weak.
He'd throw a dog treat at him.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much, yeah. Oof. Rough. That was rough. Okay. One Protoss. Oh, that's a new one. Welcome, One Protoss. What if Piccolo fused with Demon King Piccolo? Okay. That would be a bit of a twist. So basically, say for example, okay, let's say for the sake of argument in GT. In GT, Piccolo's down in hell, comes across Demon King Piccolo, causing trouble, and basically would just, fuse with him to just kind of just go like, yeah, I'm just going to make sure you don't cause more trouble. I imagine probably because he's the much more dominant personality, he probably would get a power boost in a way because it's part of his original form.
Yeah, like he still has, like he still has Kami and Piccolo and good Piccolo to personality and Nail, 3 personalities to outbalance one personality.
He'd just be, I'm 4 guys now. And then everyone goes sup except the King Piccolo. It's like, and comes it, no, King Piccolo, you're supposed to do the thing. It's like, no, I'm not doing the thing. It's beneath me. Nailed it. Come on, man, you gotta do the thing.
No.
Otherwise, you're not gonna be allowed to our bingo night.
Okay.
Bingo. And it's like, yeah, gotta do something one down here. We're not gonna be in the main plot anytime soon. He is quite right, you know. It's like, you know that happened, seriously.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, Protoss, that would happen. Yeah, you did miss this.
We broke Sophie.
I missed it so much.
Yeah. we broke Sophie.
Oh dear. I do love those antics with those guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. Paparazzi again. What if the nameless Namekian landed on Salada or Vegeta? Unsure of the timeline. Well, if they landed on there, I imagine probably they'd be less likely to go, like, have to sweep and stuff like that. Yeah, or, like, have to, defuse. But I imagine probably, like, with Salada, I imagine probably they would welcome him in. And almost if he made a set of Dragon Balls, it would mean that Salada would have Dragon Balls. That'd be kind of cool. But I think they would use them quite wisely and sparingly. And I can imagine if they did that, Kaba would be the old guy who's the security guard of the Dragon Balls. That's how we're introduced to him. So basically, we go to the tournament, and basically Kaba is like, my name is Kaba. I am part of the Saiyan police force and protector of the Dragon Balls. Wait, you have Dragon Balls too? Oh man, you have Dragon Balls as well? Who looks after them? Look, we kind of do. It's like that kind of thing.
You have Dragon Balls? We have the Dragon Balls.
No way!
I won the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, pretty much. Amped Up says, what if Goku and Vegeta both went Super Saiyan on Namek? Would they fight each other after killing Frieza?
Oh, you bet they would.
Oh, they would. Oh, they basically would. It's like, well, Kakarot, now the time has come. Let's do it. I mean, basically...
They would die. They both would die, probably,
the
but they
planet would blow up, basically, but they'd go out in style, pretty much. I'm not going to play the sound because they could be wished back, but, you know.
Yeah. But it's funny because this is apparently how Toriyama envisions their canonical deaths.
To be honest, that would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, like apparently they like when they feel that they are growing old, they would go for their ultimate battle.
I did write actually a script about that. I call it something called Dragon Ball Ascent, and basically it'd be just that moment, and I really actually want to do it. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so something along like that. Nick Wolf, hey everybody! Goku's traffic safety showed that Suno can have a fiery temper. So what if Raddatz married Suno instead of Launch? Welcome back, Sophie.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be back, especially with all of this silliness going on.
Yeah, right.
As for Suno being the one to marry Raddatz, it would be interesting. I do think the dynamic that we have with Raddatz and Launch on Dragon Ball R&R is incredible. But at the same time, I do think that Suno's fiery personality, at least as far as she was portrayed in like Goku's Traffic Safety, would be a good compliment to Raditz, especially since I imagine her once she grows up and she becomes an adult and stuff like that. I imagine her as being very no nonsense. So like I think she could really slap down some of the more stupid things that Raditz might try to do or pull.
Yeah.
I mean, was that even Suno, or was that a Suno doppelganger?
No, I think it was Suno.
Well,
it was Suno, but it just wasn't made very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get the feeling it was supposed to be Suno. They just kind of didn't do like anything specifically to name her.
I didn't really want to put much effort into it. It was just a PSA, pretty much.
Yeah, I know, but make a whole saga out of it, and her becoming, the traffic instructor,
Yeah.
And we would have like the
interesting
racing saga, Raditz racing against Goku and Piccolo, that whole and Vegeta having like that lowrider type with the flames, I will beat you, Kakarot. I will beat you in the race for everything.
Basically,
Fast and Furious.
No, it's Dragon Ball. All Stars Racing transformed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Brian Kubero. What if Zenkai boosts activate whenever Saiyans win fights instead of when they're critically injured?
Oh no.
Well, Goku wouldn't actually get that many.
Vegeta
would get loads.
I mean, probably Frieza wouldn't be, and King Cold wouldn't be able to take control over them.
No, absolutely not. Basically.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to imagine King Cold being able to dominate the Saiyans in the same way if that was that big a difference was present there.
Because you can simply farm those fights. You just conquer weak links and put them to and beat up and bully weaker races basically. Like you conquer Monaka's race and you beat them up.
Oh yeah, I'm really
leave poor Monaka alone.
I've actually got a discussion coming up in a couple of weeks that is basically called Monaka: What Might Have Been, and I'm basically in short, it basically just goes to imagine what if that punch to his face actually triggered something. So
I always thought it would have been interesting. I get the reasoning behind the joke, and I kind of saw it coming right off the bat. When they introduced Monaka. But I always thought, wouldn't it be interesting if Goku and Vegeta weren't the most powerful non-deity beings in the universe? Wouldn't it be interesting if there were some alien races out there that had managed to make greater gains than our local?
Was the strongest person in the universe?
Yeah, but he didn't knew that he was. But he didn't knew that he was.
Nor would he want this power. Nor would he want it.
Yeah, nor would he want it.
He basically, listen, man, I'm just a delivery boy. I don't really want to be a fighter. Can I just go back to the job, please? I have no
Look, I just want to have coffee breaks and deliver packages. That's all I ever wanted in life.
That's all I do,
Yeah. No, basically.
I guess sometimes I binge Netflix, like I some new shows, they're kind of nice,
I just spend like kind of 50 minutes kind of just browsing through it. I can't really just nothing really excites me really. So Monarcha's one of those guys. He's one of those guys, like just who has no personality. I mean, why don't Monarcha equal Saitama? It's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
That's kind of accurate. I mean, as Gohan would say, that's not inaccurate.
Yeah, that one when the sponge goes onto him and he dodges. It's like, and it turns out he has innate ultra instinct.
Well, yeah, you go to talk to Roshi about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Brandon Little. If when What Infinity comes out, could we get a recreation of the epic Hercule versus Cell showdown, but with Turtle School Hercule versus Good Boy 21? To be honest, I would really like to see that happen.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, that
Turtle
sounds.
School hurt
We need to make
very
some, like a lot of stories have appeared. So, fun fact: what the original Infinity script has been written before, before Good Boy 21 was even a thing. So, yeah, there will be some rewrites for sure.
Yeah, no, certainly.
cool.
Alright, Paparazzi is back in again. What if Bulma was a Saiyan who was found by Dr. Briefs? Well, first off, she wouldn't have, blue or teal hair, that's for sure. Probably just like black hair, brownish black hair. She probably would end up still having she'd be nowhere near as smart. You know, she would have
Even if she was
good education certainly, but not as intelligent and prodigious and
Maybe
innovative as Bulma in the original.
Well, maybe if she was a Saiyan who was found by Dr. Brief, there's always the potential that she might have been the child of a Saiyan scientist.
Yeah.
So she could be just as smart, but her Saiyan blood would make her incredibly competitive. Whether it's like at the science fairs or whether it's on the battlefield, and she'd be much more interested in like physical training and stuff like that, and she'd be much more interested, I think, innately in coming up with concepts for designs and inventions that affected the abilities of a person. Like, I think a gravity chamber for the purpose of training and not just for the purpose of like space travel would probably have been on her eventual list of inventions long before the events of Dragon Ball Z, just because of the realization of how much benefit you'd get from it.
And she would have a very innate Russian accent. For some reason.
Honestly, I'm kind of grateful that you did that, because it's a bit more accurate.
Yeah.
Because, if the Dragon Ball Super Broly dubs anything to go by, apparently Saiyan scientists have a Slavic accent.
Again, half Taffles, my headcanon.
Maybe half Taffles. Yeah, I think we still stand by that, certainly.
Yeah.
Manifesto says, what if Masako did an analysis discussion video on launch, asking, what is launch? Isn't she two women in one body? Explain memories lost in between? I mean, it's a good idea, to be honest, because somebody needs to do it. But maybe. We just need a bit more evidence, I think. We just need to kind of, like, maybe pass through a little bit more of Kakarot if there are some more, like, codec things about it. And also, I think that could be for the future. We don't need to do it just yet.
Yeah.
But good idea, Manifesto, for the future. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku told Gohan and Vegeta about the hypersonic lion tamer before he died in the History of Trunks timeline? I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of like not surprised. I'm kind of surprised he didn't. Like saying he did spend time. Obviously, at the time when the History of Trunks was written, the hyperbolic time chamber didn't exist and stuff like that.
Well, even if you disregard the meta, right? Even if you disregard the meta, here's part of the problem. Dende was not Guardian of Earth in Future Trunks' timeline. And Piccolo's death at the hands of the androids not only resulted in the absence of the Dragon Balls, what wound up happening was they also lost their Guardian of Earth. And without a replacement, it's very likely that either that nobody actually even considered going to the lookout because there would be nobody there who could give them the authority. And Popo is just a caretaker. He would need authority from somebody of divinity in order to give them access to the time chamber.
King Kai could.
King Kai probably could. That's how I did it in What If Krillin.
Yeah, so basically I think King Kai would be the most likely option. That he'd give Popo the right to be able to at least maintain it.
But there's the other thing is that King Kai apparently ceases communications with the Z fighters after Goku's death for all intents and purposes.
Well,
as far as we know.
I mean, that is very weird of him to do that, but it's certainly a good idea. So basically, if he did, then I would imagine probably Vegeta probably would have used it. Certainly,
Vegeta would have taken Gohan. I'm taking Gohan. Bye. And Vegeta, Gohan. Oh, I haven't been in this place before.
Yeah. So basically, I think they would have trained, and I think they probably would have actually done the deed. So then ultimately, they'd have to. So if they did, the androids would have probably been destroyed, or at least enougugh of the thing. they'd have been able to try and get through back. Basically Vegeta would have been just shouting like via Popo's like, "Hey, this King Kai guy, you better get your ass back in touch, or else I'm gonna give you hell to pay." And then basically he'd have to bully King Kai into talking to New Namek to wish back Piccolo.
But Piccolo, King Kai would take this as a joke, and we would laugh at Vegeta.
Yeah, so basically it'd be a bit of a it'd be a juggling.
This little man with spiky hair is pretty funny. I like him.
And then basically,
and we would have wind up with Vegeta that would be softened a bit by Gohan, and Gohan that would be hardened by Vegeta.
And then I can imagine also Gohan asking the same thing, and King Kai goes, "Yes, of course, Gohan. Thank you, Mr. King Kai. No problem." And then Vegeta's just, "What? It's called being nice, Vegeta." Imagine that. Alright, okay. Evan Brock. Given that Broly is in the animated canon now, do you think it's possible for Goku to retire as the main character? Oh no!
Well, I mean, they're yeah, it's really not.
No, basically,
but at
Broly's
the same
presence means that Goku's not going to any other universe anytime soon.
Well, and here's the thing about it is the premise of the question seems a little odd to me because Broly is older than Goku is. It's not like Broly is going to be taking his place. It's not as if... So honestly, I see it more like Broly's inclusion in the canon actually just makes it even more of a thing that Goku's still kind of front and center, because now he's got yet another rival to add to his growing collection.
Yeah, he's just collecting them now, basically. Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, really. Okay.
Gotta fight them all, strong guys.
Anime Guy 01. What if Krillin destroyed Vegeta's ship after letting him live? Oh, so basically just like, okay, Goku, I'll do what you say. Psych! Boom! It wouldn't be enough to destroy Vegeta. Basically, Vegeta would just end up careening and falling back to the ground. And Vegeta say, "Come on!"
Well, it's kind of interesting because I could see somebody like Krillin utilizing that as a loophole. It's like, so you want me to let him live, huh, Goku? Fine, but he's not leaving the planet, and so he just destroys the ship. And so then it's like, he would probably even be like, we gotta keep a close eye on this guy so that he doesn't go around the universe hurting other people. And if Goku wants to take responsibility for letting him live, he's gonna have to do the job.
Yeah, the problem is that Vegeta would hold a grudge against Krillin and would most certainly go for revenge. Both Goku and Vegeta would get Zenkais though. From this one.
No, I would say certainly, yeah. Nick Wolf comes in, and what if Gine? Raddatz spent more time on Yardrat even before Kakarot arrived. What would Raddatz's secondary spirit power be? Can't steal this one, brother! Ah, yes, because I wrote that part before we found out more about Yardrat. Honestly, I think if he actually had a power, I think he would probably use that to make himself giant.
Yeah.
Like, you think I'm
even bigger?
Now? Oh, basically, no. I can imagine him basically just doing gigantification. That would be a Nick. Paparacha, what if Frieza didn't make all the Saiyans return to Vegeta before blowing it up? Well, okay, I can totally imagine that a lot of splinter groups of the Saiyans would then basically try and tear the Empire apart, and it would make it such a difficult thing for Frieza to try and do, because then eventually.
Well, it's.
Go on.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go on. No.
Well, I was just going to kind of add to that comment is that the Saiyans have a tendency to kind of make a mess of things wherever they go, but at the same time, I almost feel like if Frieza had not made it so obvious, right? If Frieza had not made it so obvious that his intentions were to basically kill the Saiyans, and the Saiyans were honestly pretty silly for going along with it. They knew he didn't like them. But if he'd have been less obvious and had let certain Saiyan splinter groups kind of survive by not giving the order for all Saiyans to return to planet Vegeta, I think what would have happened is he could have easily sent out some of his more powerful forces, his various members of his group like Kui or the Ginyu Force and Zarbon and Dodoria and people like this, right? And they could have gone and more or less wrangled these Saiyans for the most part and kept them in line, while all the while Frieza could keep a close eye on them, but still make use, pragmatically speaking, like we usually speak about when we talk about Cooler having the Saiyans instead. He could have pragmatically made use of these Saiyan qualities and maybe even played them against each other a little bit, especially if there was any kind of divide between the lower class and nobility. Because if King Vegeta's dead, then obviously Vegeta the Fourth should rise to the rank of king, right? Well, that means that if there's no planet to rule, does he even get to qualify to be king? If the noble family's gone, does he get to qualify to be king? You could have literally had Frieza pitting these Saiyans with like political infighting all the while to keep them under his thumb, and so you've got this divide between the nobles and the low class Saiyans. Yeah. All trying to seek higher status in Frieza's army,
And we'd still have Vegeta going like, "No, I never get to be King Vegeta."
Exactly.
Basically, if I ever meet Sabbath again, I am just gonna go like, "Hey Sabbath, how does it feel that you never get to be King Vegeta twice?" So basically, just along those lines. That was such a funny line read.
Nice, funny.
Okay, the Battlefly. Let's say the three of you find yourself at King Kai's planet. What joke would each of you tell King Kai to pass his first test? So, what would be your joke?
No!
You know what we? I would just say, Supreme Kai of Universe 7. That would be my joke.
Wow. Harsh.
Oh.
Okay, God, what would be my joke? Oh no. I'm not funny.
Okay,
I don't know this.
I've got something King Kai would find funny. Hey, King Kai, you know the thing about onions? They make me sad.
That's a real groaner.
He'd love it. He'd love it. It'd be one of those things where you just see King Kai just go, "Blah!"
Good night, everybody.
Oh.
I honestly can't say what I would say. I'm drawing such a blank right now. I feel bad about it.
No,
because
you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Ken Shinhan said that. I know.
Yeah. That would be a cheat. I don't want to take a joke from Tien.
Yeah, Tien right now.
The only joke that he knows.
Right now he is a joke.
Oh.
Unfortunately. I don't like that. I don't like that fact, but apparently at the moment it's true. Not unless Chapter 57 can fix it. Anyway, the Jurassic Show says, what if Bibbidi and Moro teamed up? Well, something really tells me is that, in a way, it would be really interesting if Moro was indeed the teacher at the Margin School, and basically Bibbidi was like one of his pupils or descendants or something like that. So if they did team up, I can imagine them being pretty powerful, but Bibbidi would be basically the Mook. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bibbidi, in the classic Dragon Ball thing, you'd think that Bibbidi was the big bad, but no, it then turns out he has a boss.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they could be really good. They'd be very powerful, certainly. Chancellor, what if the Universe 7 Saiyans and the Universe 6 Saiyans were swapped? Well, I mean, if they were swapped wholesale? I don't know. Well, basically, they were the Universe 7 Saiyans would be nowhere nearly good. You know, basically, if they suddenly just turned up, the police force there would absolutely crumble.
Frost could build the career on fighting them.
Yes. This unknown menace that's just suddenly appeared and no one can explain.
Yeah, because no Frieza Empire, so I think they would grow up even bigger because like there would be no Cold Force to control them.
No, that's true.
And Frost would make his entire career on fighting those Saiyans.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, I could see that happening. Okay. Right, next one is Master Riku. What if Goku and Chichi decided to have a third kid during Super? If they did have another kid, I think it would probably just be for just, you know, Chichi and again wanted to have more companionship because, you know, I imagine maybe actually if it was like at the end of Z in a way. So basically, you know, Goku feeling a bit listless, a bit weary, stuff like that. Chichi can anticipate basically. I think Goku's basically going to wander off somewhere again because he's going to get bored. So have another kid, that kind of thing. Basically, Chichi by now she would know if he was about to like skip town almost.
I mean, it would be funny if, you know, like the third kid was a daughter.
Yeah.
But she had Goku's will to fight and Chichi's fiery temperament, and they would butt heads all the time with her mother. She would be like, yeah, she would like to make her a little princess, and she would hate it because she would be the first child that would really like to train and be like her dad, you know, and fight and you know, like she would dress her in Chinese princess dresses and stuff, and she would absolutely hate that. Like she would be a very moody child.
Certainly. No, I think that's good.
Not to mention that it would be also cool for Goten, because Goten would have to be a big brother.
Yeah, and constantly go to Gohan for advice.
Yeah.
That could
Interesting.
be cool.
It could be cool.
Paparazzi says, DBFOY, you can be killed but not die of natural causes. Heart virus and stop aging. For your
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, for immortal Goku.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Okay. No, okay, all right. Well, the DragonBallZ for having less stakes, because you could basically use it for almost anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So yeah, Nick Wolf. Do you think Raddatz takes Launch and/or Ranch to the beauty salon spa for a once-a-daddy-daughter date? A family with that much hair needs to take care. You know what? I can imagine that basically,
Oh, yes.
I imagine okay, here is how it goes. You know, Blue Launch has to go and get her hair done. Raddatz doesn't want to go. Launch is going, come on, honey, you got loads of hair. It's going to be fine. In fact, it could do with a bit of a wash and blow dry. It's like, oh, fine. Yeah, basically, he does it. It's like, oh my goodness, my hair's never felt so good. How'd you do it? So basically, you just see, again, it's like in episode 2. He's got a towel around his hair. He basically just like, well, you got to take care of your hair, you know. Oh, my hair's absolutely amazing and all. You got, that doesn't come naturally. That kind of stuff. I can imagine just Ranch and Raddatz in one of those hair machine things to get it dried, and they're just like reading magazines. Just the three of them. I imagine a panning shot. It's Launch, then Ranch, and then it's just big Raddatz just like looking at with the dumbbell at the same time, just going.
reading the Saiyan magazine from Universe 6, because Universe 6 somehow has the Saiyan magazine.
Saiyan's Health magazine. All while he's doing dumbbell curls while he gets his hair dried.
You gotta multitask. You can imagine that doing it. Oh,
that's beautiful.
Okay. All right. Adam says, what if Raddatz killed Chichi instead of taking Gohan? Let's say she came to Kame's house, or Raddatz came a little early and went to Goku's house. Ooh. Oh, okay. If that happened, Gohan would have that rage boost would have happened instantly, and Goku would have gone berserk. So basically, you'd have had Gohan exploding with rage. You'd have Goku exploding with rage as well. So I imagine probably Raddatz would actually be knocked out. Not destroyed, but knocked out.
Possibly Ox King exploding with rage as well, to add it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, basically Raddatz would be incapacitated for a while. And basically they would try and find some way of, like, getting him back to the pod. Getting him back to the pod.
They would kill him. They would kill him.
Okay, no, they would totally do it. Okay, no, I would say that would be fair. Yep, so basically Raddatz would be done for. Darkness5279. What if Dr. Wheeler's plan was successful and had gotten Goku's body? If he had, yeah, I think I'll just play the sound, really. It wouldn't have ended well for anyone concerned, really.
Even Willow, because Dr. Giro would be so angry about this that he would send his android after him, and Willow couldn't get the proper use of Goku's body. So
absolutely,
Dr. Giro would have taken double revenge.
Double revenge.
No, I could see that happening. Okay, next one. White Oak, what if Babidi was in Trunks' future after the androids in Cell were destroyed? Well, he was.
Well,
he was.
Yeah.
He was. And
They address.
Yeah, that amounted to nothing. Realistically.
Yeah, because he trained with Shin and them and defeated the enemies. Like that's pretty much how it amounted to. Like Boo wasn't even awakened in his timeline. He just defeated Babidi and Dabura and the rest of them before Boo could ever be woken up.
Because somehow future Shin isn't as useless as the present Shin.
Yes.
What a surprise.
It's only our Shin that's the dumb little failure.
Even Dragon Ball Heroes Shin is better than the one from
that.
Poor Shin. I feel bad, but it's like.
All right, Red Dragon Force 2 says, what if Goku was found by Ranma or Yusuke? Like, basically in the Ranma universe? I can imagine Goku fitting in really well in the Ranma universe. I mean, come on.
I could too.
Come on, you got like Ranma's dad who's basically, a panda.
Oh, you could even explain the fact that he's got a tail as one of the side effects of being dropped in the spring of drowned monkey.
Well, there you go. So basically... Yeah, exactly. Just stick it. That's just another puddle to fall in.
Yeah, just one more puddle.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that would work really well. Chancellor, thank you very much for the Master Love membership again. Master Riku then goes in with, what if Goku and Vegeta had a body switch, like an accidental wish from the Dragon Balls does the body switch? If they did, then Vegeta would be just like, oh, well, short stuff. What's it like down there?
And why I'm always hungry.
It's like,
I know that we need to eat a lot.
It's like, well, is this the feeling of not being hungry? This is weird. I don't like it.
I mean, I've got an appetite, but it's not the same.
You can imagine something like that. But I think them being really experienced fighters, I think they could get used to each other's bodies pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would take a little time, but I think they could do it. It's not like a Ginyu Goku situation.
I do feel that Vegeta would definitely be the one who would be pushing the most to get back into his own body, just because, while it might be nice to be tall, and while it might be nice to even kind of be in Goku's shoes for a short time, the truth of the matter is that he still has his Saiyan pride,
Yeah.
And he's not just gonna accept being in this low class warrior's body.
True.
Not if he can help it.
Yeah. No, if there's a way to get back to it, he'd seek it. Okay, that's true. Zeke Cooper. What if Bulma had managed to rebuild Android 16 after the Cell games and could upgrade him? How would that affect the world around him? Well, okay, let's say, for example, it was made very clear with the animation and the directing and the composition is that 16's chip that made him was destroyed, basically, or it broke.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say, for example, it's Capsule Corp. They make backups of things. Like, say, the essence of 16's memory was still in there. So, I would say maybe it was a long shot that they could make. They wouldn't get the same exact 16 back again, but they could at least get, like, an older version. But I think at that same time when they found him, he was kind of, like, done with being with 17 and 18. I think you just get him, he'd just go off and just be with nature.
I think he would, like, Gohan would try to befriend with him, for sure. That's the first thing.
I think 16 would
Second
become
thing,
a recluse.
I think he would be reclusive, but on the other hand, he would keep an eye on 17 and 18, making sure that they are not up to trouble.
I can imagine that he spends a lot of time with 17 on the island.
Yeah. He wouldn't but he wouldn't be a warrior. He would be like, Gohan, he would be that character where the younger staff would come for a life advice, ironically, to the android for wisdom or words of wisdom. It would be a character that found happiness in the nature. He wouldn't be fighting unless he would be forced to. Possibly Tournament of Power.
Yeah, possibly. If the birds are about to be destroyed again, I have no choice but to act.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, if I ever, for R&R, if Android 16 ever came up with, I would get Remix to voice him. Who voiced 16 in DBZ.
I mean, there is a flashback scene.
I mean, we could always do that. Paparazzi. What if, seeing how strong the Earthlings became in the years since Raddatz, Vegeta acted more diplomatic? So for example, Paparazzi, Vegeta's personality, when he sees how strong they were in comparison, Vegeta couldn't get a read on them originally, but I would imagine if he was a bit more respectful, he would at least be less likely to just destroy them. Like, he would restrain Nappa a little bit, almost. So I think pretty much, like, Nappa would just be contained a bit more. Or if Nappa went off the collar, Vegeta would reprimand him more.
Was that the thing? That's the thing. Like, they are really, like, they don't have that much at this point. Vegeta and Nappa don't have really that much regard of life that aren't Vegeta or Nappa.
Yeah.
Regardless of their strength or no, for them, the worthiness of how life is, like, for them, dying in a battle is the best thing you can get, basically. So they are like, yeah.
I'd just say that Vegeta would be willing to play ball a little more than before.
Yeah.
Just a little more.
Yeah,
slightly.
I can see that.
Just that's the only difference, I would say. Dylan 64. What if the humans survive in the future and trained Gohan and Trunks? They ran away after seeing Piccolo and Vegeta get killed. So basically, Yamcha, Tien Han, and Clearin, they survived. So what if the big green dot was true? So yeah, Clearin survived. So basically, they all do that, and basically they all train together.
That's interesting, because you have to kind of wonder whether or not Trunks would have gotten more bang for his buck if he'd have had multiple teachers, especially since there is this kind of like implication that when they aren't training, the only person who stands in the path of the androids is Gohan. So unless they literally took a break where it's like, oh, we're just going to train and we're just going to ignore all the damage that the androids are causing while we're training, unless they did that, which would be a little bit like, I almost feel like it would be out of character for somebody like Gohan to do so. I feel like Gohan was very limited in his opportunities to truly kind of hammer home the training that he needed to get into Trunks. So if they'd had multiple people training them, maybe Trunks would have made more gains. And then if they'd have all gone to fight against the androids that day, maybe it would have turned out very differently. Maybe Trunks never goes to the past.
I would say we have a very, it's a pretty similar scenario to our what if Dr. Gero and Frieza teamed up, and I think they would train, but they would go to space to seek for new Namek, because when you have more people, you can send some to space to seek for new Namek. as a last resort thing.
Mhm.
Because in the original scenario, you can make an argument that you want to stop androids from causing more suffering.
Okay. No, I could see that. Okay. All right. Nick May 98 has a super sticker with wrecked, probably in reference to one of the earlier things. So thank you, Nick May. Blake James, morning all. What if Tien and Chaozu were revived and wished to yard red after Namek, knowing through King Kai that Goku was learning many techniques?
Insane gains for both of them.
Oh yeah, they would be absolutely. They would. Tien would probably would actually benefit from the training more, as would Chaozu. Chaozu probably wouldn't get that much stronger, but his telekinetic powers and all of his psychic abilities would be absolutely insane.
With the multiform, I think he would be like, can do things that would maybe not make him the strongest, but he could be able to stand and trick even cell levels of enemy, like fool him, make illusions.
Totally. I would say so. Like the multiform would actually be perfected. And like those clones, they're not like the power doesn't reduce. They're basically full perfect copies, I would say.
Which would be a very interesting way to go about it, because it would give these characters who were so important in Dragon Ball a lot more like agency in Z/Super going forward.
No, absolutely. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Gohan found where Goku was training Oob and took Pan there to force his father to keep his promise to train his granddaughter? Right? Like, seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, Gohan can sense energy and just go like, hey, if Gohan had a spine and basically said, Dad, you said you trained Pan. She's been devastated. Like, basically, I would say Pan would actually have a better understanding. They'd have a good relationship, and I think as she got older, Pan would really benefit from it. She would definitely go Super Saiyan.
And also, like, it's kind of weird because, like, the interactions between Pan and Oob kind of suggest that they met before. And I'm not saying, like I don't think, like, 4-year-old Pan would remember much of Oob. So, it is, like, suggested that they weren't introduced to each other and Pan immediately knows who he is. And they speak like they know each other.
Can you imagine if Goku introduced Pan to Oob like, this is the student I've decided to train up instead of you?
That
would be a grudge.
Oh my god.
That would be a grudge, but like make the relationship between them starting with a grudge and make them like grudge turning into possible romance ? Pan and Oob.
Oh yeah, that does happen a lot. That does happen a lot in fanfics and stuff.
Yeah.
Under Fire 319.
Pan and Oob as a thing. Now that's something I've never considered.
DragonBallZ Epsilon did it.
Yeah. I've never seen that. So, wow. That is interesting because they are supposed to be kind of around the same age. He's older, but not by much because he's really young at the tournament.
There's like 5-year gap between them, roughly.
Interesting.
Anywho, all right. Under Fire 319. What if Goku and Chichi had a daughter instead of Gohan? By the way, my wife and I love your content and hope you keep up the what-ifery. Don't worry, Under Fire, and thank you very much. We certainly intend to. I would say probably if Gohan was a girl instead, I imagine Chichi would be even less inclined to let Gohan train. But at the same time, the rage boost would still be there. So I think it would just be even more of like Chichi would be even more belligerent.
And again,
probably.
I think the girl, as I said before, third child would try to be a little bit more independent from her mother, due to just the cultural thing of how she would be raised.
Oh yeah, no. Basically, Gohan, the female firstborn, would be more likely to rebel and actually go with Goku, just to be defiant, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse Gold, what if Tarbell and Goku stowaway were sent to Earth? So basically, if Tarbell stowed away in the same pod for some reason,
we have to make this in another FAQ because we get that.
Yeah, this does happen a
One
lot. So
way or another.
and our next what if FAQ, what if AQ, I would say, in short, basically, Tarball would just be the really nice guy who would blend in, not really want to get in conflicts and stuff like that, but ultimately he would end up being the intel guy.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be the smart one out of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linus Gardner. What if the same events happened, but Saiyans were an advanced technological civilization and not a warrior race? What if the past had stands? Oh. Goku's stand would be hungry eyes. Certainly. Hungry eyes! Certainly. Or it would be Food Glorious Food from Oliver Twist.
Food.
Or hungry like a wolf.
No, that would be that would be Yamcha's.
Yamcha's, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
No, Yamcha would be who let the dogs out. No, that would be Trio de Danger.
That's the trio. That'd be Bergamo. That's Bergamo. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's that. But basically, if the Saiyans were an advanced technological civilization, they'd basically be the Tuffles. You'd have Tuffles. You'd have a legendary Super Tuffle, pretty much. Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
Not really.
He would be really smart. You killed my friend. Now I feel really, really smart for some reason. I'm so angry that I'm really, really smart, and I can solve this math equation.
I'm gonna do this quadratic equation in front of you. Then you'll be sorry.
Oh my god.
Alright, Akimiryu. What if Goku had a twin sister that went to Earth with him, and she was the spitting image of their mother Gine? Ah yes, the legendary Ika. Go Google sister Ika. You'd have it right there.
But to protect them from their father, they would be split, and she would be raised as a princess of Earth nations as king for his surrogate daughter.
Yes, basically, until one day. At the time of King Piccolo, they were reunited.
Or as Chichi. What a twist.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, I had to. I had to do it.
Sophie, you became Master Rosie today. You are Master Rosie. You literally became Master Rosie.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was very, very unfortunate.
Alright, Red Dragon Force, we are probably going to have our cutoff in the next 10 minutes or so. So basically, if you want to get your what ifs in, you've got 10 minutes left to do so. Otherwise, and then we will be cutting it off and then going through the backlog, what we have left. Now, the Jurassic show's next. What if Masako build a technique? Now, you know what? I kind of played around with that with Gine's Rebellion Phalanx. Or Phalanx, or something like that. But, yeah, we might look into it. But the thing is, though, techniques, they are so easy to make. There's not really that much nuance to it. Pick a key color that you like. Do you want it to come out of your hands, or do you want it to come out of your feet, or mouth, or whatever? It's pretty much...
I've already created a technique.
Yeah. And I'm already working on the next build A, but I'm not going to spoil you what it's gonna be. But
you gotta wait to see. You gotta subscribe to the channel and keep an eye on that friendos. Frost then
Do
says,
it.
What if Ranch met GT Pan? Oh, if our Ranch from R R&R Ranch met Pan, I think they get on pretty well. But initially, I can imagine them having the old anime trope of sparks flying between their eyes. They'd be really salty towards each other at first. But basically, can you imagine? Ranch goes Super Saiyan and say, "Go on then, turn into a Super Saiyan to fight me." I can't. What? You can't even turn into a Super Saiyan yet? Oh my god, you suck! I can imagine.
You don't understand. My writers hate me.
I can see that being the initial reaction for Ranch, and maybe I'm overstepping by saying it. But I think Ranch would want to take Pan under her wing. She'd be like, "This is my opportunity, Gohan. Now I'm gonna have a student of my own."
And she'll call me Miss Ranch.
And she'll call me Miss Ranch.
Yeah. I think this this way of acting, she would try to make her angry, so she would turn into Super Saiyan. Like this mockery would be like the Vegeta technique, basically, because like she combines a lot of stuff, and for all its worth, like the problem with GT Pan is that when you go under her shell, she's not a terrible character, but we rarely see like Pan without her shell. That that her defense mechanism, which is an obnoxious brat, kinda. And like I always read this as a her coping mechanism against being basically abandoned by her grandpa.
Yeah,
that she idolized. So
yeah. White Oak says next, time battle, Goldo versus Hit. Okay, Goldo does time freeze. Okay, then he has to catch his breath. Hit, done. The end of. That's pretty much it. Mark Van Alstyne. What if Poir and Oolong transformed into 17 and 18 and were absorbed by Cell? Oh my god.
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 Oh.
That is amazing.
That's for the
that's like,
lightning. That's for the lightning round.
It's gotta be, because it's like Cellin levels of funny.
And they're basically like 18 pretending like, oh yo-ho, Mr. Cell.
Of course Oolong becomes 18 because Poir's like, no, I'm not turning into another girl.
No, basically say, Oolong, you have experience pretending to be girls. You can be the girl. Okay. it's like, all right, stand back, Poir. And you can imagine just like, oh yo-ho.
I love Massive Oolong. Your Oolong sounds really drunk.
It sounds like Danny DeVito pretending.
Oh yo-ho!
Like,
So, I'm over here!
Oh my, 18. Do I must say, you're looking quite ravishing.
Oh, you don't say!
You do seem to have gained a little weight, though. No matter. Your taste even nicer.
And like he absorbs him and is like, that's no fun. That's no fair. That's no fair.
No, he's going like, this is going to go straight to my thighs. It's like, and then Oolong inside's like, well, I am mostly pork fat. That's kinda true. Oh.
I can only hope that as I was being eaten by this monster, I was delicious.
Narrator.
The best meal I ever had.
Yeah, narrator. He indeed was delicious.
No. He just goes. He was. No, seriously. Oh my god, this needs to happen.
And you see the poor imperfect Cell, and like the Saiyans and the android just teaming up on him after that, and it's like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Not fair.
How could I have been so fooled?
Yeah.
Well, Cell, I guess this was one case where you were a bit pig-headed.
Once again, who suggested that?
That was Mark Van Alstyne or something like that. Oh my god, sir. Bravo,
that's one of the. I think that's one of the best things we got.
That's one of
here,
the best ones.
Honestly.
Oh my god.
Honestly.
I mean, I almost want to just make that just a funny video. Just like, not even a lightning round. Just like a 5-minute video. Just go. And then we just got to include the script. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Okay. That was amazing. Keeper of Necronomicon. What if when Gohan was training with Piccolo, he rescued Videl from a dinosaur after she got lost during a family camping trip? That would be kind of an interesting way of bringing her in a way. That doesn't seem as sudden. But, maybe she'd be a bit
rescue
more
romance
to, figure out his power and stuff. Maybe?
maybe she'd also be more inclined to recognize him when she sees him not as a Super Saiyan in the future. Because that's kind of the thing, is like, it takes a little while for her deduction to kick in canon.
Yeah.
But if she'd been rescued by this kid earlier in her life, then that would probably stick with her for quite some time.
Yeah. No, I think that could work, certainly. The Jurassic Show. What if the Red Ribbon Army had already taken over the world since the beginning of the series? Well, okay. Well, Capture Corp would basically be one of their, like, splintered companies. Or be, like, the only company that basically has been able to stay independent enough to not be under their control. But that it's mounting pressure every single day. So basically, Bulma... It would mean that Bulma's wish would be to try and get the Dragon Balls to wish that the Red Ribbon Army didn't exist. Or basically wish that Capsule Corp came up with the invention that was so useful and so ubiquitous, it would drive Red Ribbon Army out of business. We probably wouldn't actually end up having the Commander Red saga and stuff like that. Because they'd be completely decimated much sooner when they had the Dragon Balls. I'd say that Bulma's adventure would be a lot more, yeah, it'd be a lot less, kind of madcap. It'd be much more serious. Yeah. Red Dragon Force does say about whether Sophie was going to plan to join the Kakarot streams. We'll come back to that, but I'll highlight that all the same. Red Dragon Force does also ask again, what if Mark and Videl found the Son family while camping out on Mount Paozu during the 5 years between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z? If they did, I mean, it'd be basically just one of those things. It's like, you know, they're wandering around, they get lost, and, you know, Goku, yeah, they find Goku's place, and, yeah, they say, "Howdy, stranger!" And then basically they get talking, and Goku was, like, the guy who won the World Martial Arts Tournament. So it's like, "Well, I'll be. You won the World Martial Arts Champion?" Yeah, basically they'd want to spar.
Yeah.
Mr. Satan would have his ass kicked, and they'd be like, it's like, "Could you teach me how to do that?" Yeah, basically, I think Goku would give him pointers and just, like, say, "Sure, come on by anytime you want." Because there'd be nothing left to do. I mean, basically, you know, for Goku, this is entertainment, pretty much. But Mr. Satan, I think he'd actually have a good role model.
And I think like Chichi and Miguel could be friends, and like Gohan and Fidel would have the.
Childhood friends.
That's actually a really wholesome scenario.
Yeah, that is really. But yeah, Sophie, Red Dragon had another one for you. It says, any plans on joining the Kakarot streams?
Well, I mean, that's entirely up to you. That's your stream. I am interested to see what they're doing with Kakarot. I've heard some mixed things about it, particularly with regard to some of the lore.
Well, so far it's been interesting just to see how it changes. It's a good way of actually modifying it a little bit, which is a bit less conventional than just writing a book. So it's one way of doing it.
Well, let me know when the streams are, and if you want me to come along and do some commentary, I'm more than happy to.
It'd be good with you and Haverok there, just to kind of, in a way, we think we might be going tomorrow and stuff like that, around about like 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Must needs to be this Vegeta finally.
It's taken me 5 goes, and I've basically been failing miserably. But then I realized, I don't have any healing items. I fixed that now.
one thing that we have to say, like. And yeah, it has mixed things, but like it probably has one of the most badass fights with Raddatz in every game.
The Raddatz boss fight is really good.
It's actually he's actually menacing in that.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Even if I know I'll still be sad because I'm sure that they didn't do anything else with him.
Yeah, it is a good boss fight. I will say that. Okay. Right, Jurassic Show comes up with a super chat. Thank you. Red Dragon Force 2 then is again saying, what if Gohan could join in on the Universe 6 tournament and making against Hit? Ultimate Gohan versus Hit, and maybe push Hit one step instead of Goku before Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10. I think we've done similar what ifs to that before. I think the only way that Gohan could have it if he had the ultimate power, like say he was able to get it back with training and he didn't have to go to a conference, he basically have to outsmart Hit. Like, he'd have to basically outthink him. And he probably would have sussed out the same thing that Goku did, just in a different way. And I think Hit would respect Gohan in a way, for his analytical mind, certainly. He wouldn't win, but I think he would actually come close. Like, Hit would be actually really impressed. Yeah, and then he would actually really like Goku and Gohan as a pair. Certainly.
Yeah, he would be like,
I could see that.
I like you, kid. You are smart. You are like a jelly in a good donut.
Yeah, of course. All right, okay. The Jurassic Show again. April Fool's What If? Goku landed in Monarcha's space truck. Or what if Tapion became a Z fighter? Okay, so basically, if after the events of the Hirudegarn movie, Tapion decides to stick around with his brother Minotia, basically you'd have constant Chrono Trigger referencing, and Chrono Trigger would be selling more and more games. And hey,
I was about to say it would basically be it would basically be taking a character who's kind of a combination of like Chrono and Magus and adding them to the cast.
Exactly. And basically it'd be like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool though, kind of interesting though.
Yeah,
basically,
I agree.
Sword fighter in a group, yeah.
And then when Zamasu shows up, looking exactly the same, basically Tapion's looking, hey, he's trying to steal my do. Yeah. As for Goku landing in Monarcha's space truck, let's say, for example, Goku's trying to go somewhere, and then basically, like, he finds, like, Monarcha's space truck, and he's like, hey, my instant transmission's working funny, can you take me somewhere? Oh, no,
I think they mean, what if he landed there as a baby?
Oh, God.
But I think Monarcha is younger than Goku.
Yeah, I think Monarcha wouldn't have been born yet.
Yeah.
What if Monarcha's parents raised Goku and Monarcha as siblings?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He'd be like, Mom,
Hey,
how
Monarcha.
come my pontas aren't this big? It's like,
Oh my God.
that's because you are a strange, freaky baby, son.
No, like his parents also need to be like without any motivation. So you know, like
Yeah.
putting way too much energy, you know.
Mm.
Now go. You need to study, then you need to go to school, then you know you can go to work. You know that's nice.
Okay, father, I will do that. That's my boy.
I love
Basically,
it.
they're like the
Test my mic
they're like the
input.
meh emojis from the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
That was one of the only few jokes in that
Testing.
movie that I actually thought was good.
Testing. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. No, it was about
Okay.
volume and stuff
Well,
like that.
I wanted to turn it down because Podpracha said it was too loud. So
Yeah,
my
but-
apologies if I blew out anyone's ears.
Yeah, but with the Emoji Movie, the only thing good was mess parents. They were one of the few things actually. Wow, son, I'm so proud of you. Pretty much, that was one of the only good things in that movie. Okay. Right. Next up is Futo. What if Metamora and Potara fusion was the same as Namekian fusion, meaning Fusion Dance and Potara could fuse hundreds of people into one? Basically, what Super Dragon Ball Fusions, what Dragon Ball Fusions does. So you can like fuse multiple people. I would imagine probably the more people that you fuse with, the lower the amount of time that you can fuse together is.
They would abuse that against Zamasu.
Totally.
Trunks, Vegeta, and Goku.
Oh yeah, Vegetunks. Oh no. I came up with a name in the video. It's
Vegetunks? No.
No. That's Vegeta and Trunks. Govatunks. That's it.
Govatunks.
Yeah, something like that. I would say. Surplus history with a super chat. Thank you. Kenshin491. What if Krillin actually cut Frieza's head off in his second form? Well, Frieza would be dead.
No, he would survive. Because, as we know, Frieza was still alive when Trunks cut him to bits. What killed him was Trunks evaporating those bits.
Okay,
Because
but at least it would mean that...
Yeah.
But it would incapacitate Frieza for enough time that he can't stitch his head back together. It would basically mean they'd have to find some way of just, evaporating or like just destroying basically doing Frieza head keep away.
I mean, I think that they wouldn't know that they would be like, okay, he's dead. Let's run.
Yeah, but they would Namek wouldn't be destroyed, or at least not in,
No.
not in the way that we know it.
I mean, King Cold would go there and throw it anyway, because after his pink princess has been beheaded, and Frieza would have a very, very grudge against Krillin.
That's true. Anywho, guys, we have now reached the point. The super chat cutoff is now done. Super chat submissions are closed. Thank you very much for your submissions and contributions. Any super chats now afterwards? They may be read out if we have time, but they may not be. So basically, just be careful. But again, they might be read, depends on how much time we got. But the message has now been up, so thank you very much for your contributions if you have done so. Thank you. All right, okay. Next up is John Coleman. What if Gohan was the hand of God, and what if Goku and Gohan went into the time chamber first? Well, if Goku and Gohan went into the time chamber first, they probably would have ended up destroying Cell. But at the same time, I feel like they would have toyed with Cell, not allowing him to go perfect, but basically just wanting to like wait until another time or something like that. They try and like gauge stuff in a way.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Goku wouldn't pull a Vegeta. He wouldn't let him turn perfect. Nope. Certainly. But yeah, it's interesting. Right. And Gohan was the hand of God. Oh, what does that mean exactly?
I guess like somebody who serves the Guardian of Earth.
Oh, okay.
In this case, like I mean, because I don't know if it's a reference to a specific thing, but I would assume that the hand of God would mean somebody who was like God's servant. In this case, the Guardian of Earth servant, Kami's servant.
Yeah. Okay. No, okay, that's fair. All right. Well, I can imagine that Gohan and Kami actually working together in that way.
Yeah, they could get along easily.
All right. Blood Midget says, "What if Goku raised Gohan by himself?" I mean, if he did, I mean, he probably would be able to take care of him in a way, as in being able to feed him.
He would try.
He would try, certainly. But ultimately, he would ask Bulma for loads of advice.
Yeah.
Certainly. But he would certainly try. He wouldn't give up. Certainly.
Yeah.
James Cameron asks, just a quick question. When will we get another Gohan What If update? Doesn't matter which one. All of them are awesome. Let me take a look on my calendar. So far from what we got, nothing's coming up at the moment, because I've got February I'm dedicating to some of the what ifs that I haven't done for a very long time. So basically, I'm just kind of going through some of those. So
I'm working on the next part of the Berserker Gohan storyline, because we haven't done it in a moment. So that's your thing, Mr. Cameron. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, I am in the middle of doing rewrites for what if Vegeta revived the Saiyans, and I actually have the finished picture. If you guys wanted me to share that with
you. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, give me just a sec. I will put it in the Discord chat.
Also, Mr. Cameron, can I just say we don't need that many of this seriously. You are a great director, but but we are glad that you like our Gohan what ifs. That's really nice.
Yeah. Now let's just make a movie about it.
Here we go. And this one has a minor art error. See if you guys can find it. I actually need to get the fixed one from Trev, but
okay. Oh yeah, no, I think we've seen this.
I showed you guys the sketch. I know that I showed you guys the sketch.
Oh, yeah,
so.
Okay, well, we've seen it and we like it, but we won't spoil it. But suffice to say, it's a very nice one. Certainly, you'll look forward to it when you see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to do some script rewrites.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to it. Talon Drifter says, "What if Bulma joined the Red Ribbon Army?" Ooh. Oh, it would only be out of not choice. Certainly. It'd be basically means that they'd have to like kidnap Bulma, in the sense of like, if you don't do what we say, we will destroy we will kill your family.
Or as we figured out last week when you guys asked about evil Bulma, she would reform it into Blue Bloomer's army.
True. She'd try and bring it down from within.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Nick Rag, what if Android 21 appeared before the end of DBZ? Well, if she did, she probably would win, because she's a lot stronger. And, honestly, Android 21, if it was DragonBallZ at that time slot of Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I think she'd be quite raunchy. Even more so than in what she is in Fighters. Like, seriously. Like, we're talking, like, Ron Farm levels. Probably. Yeah. Like, it'd be very, like, oh, God. Standards and practices in early 2000s America would be having a field day.
Yeah.
So basically,
censorship would be.
Oh yeah. So instead of her being constantly aroused, she basically just always have a cold. So that's why she's always got a red nose. It's like, oh, blasting, this cold is really giving me, ruffling my feathers. Oh, it's just something like that.
But at least the cargo robot survived.
And the cargo was people!
Kenshin491 says, Sophie, come up with some Master Rosie lines. What would Master Rosie say?
Oh my god, Master Rosie. Well, it's not too hard to think about because honestly, she would be pervy in the exact same way, except with guys in a lot of occasions. So instead of watching something like the exercise videos, she'd watch something like those Ultimate Warrior type shows.
Oh,
but as far as like World's Strongest. As far as direct lines go, I probably couldn't give you anything off of the cuff just because, shoot, I'm still kind of recovering from my trip back. But let's see, some serious. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just imagined Master Rosie picking on Hercule.
Oh my god, Master Rosie would totally pick on Hercule, especially since he's not conventionally attractive by any means.
Yeah,
but I suspect like she'd probably flirt the most with like Yamcha and Tien, and so one of her lines would probably be something like, "Is that a Dragon Ball in your pants, or are you just happy to see old Master Rosie?"
Oh, basically, well, howdy there, you big bear. And it's like, well,
that would be.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
That would be how he says how he talks with the Ox King.
Oh no, basically, Master Rosie would basically just call him a hunkish bear. Pretty much, yeah. Totally.
I don't know, because I feel like considering Master Roshi's tastes, I also think Master Rosie would be quite picky with who she with her type. I don't think that she'd find the bear-like appearance of somebody like Hercule particularly attractive, especially not with the fro and mustache combo. Personally, I think she'd be more apt if you were going to do a one-to-one translation of Roshi's tastes to Rosie's tastes. I think she'd be more apt to go for the closest thing that you kind of get to be shown in the series, which would mean that she'd probably have an interest in characters like Yamcha or even Tien, despite the baldness. She'd probably have a thing for Zarbon or even Vegeta, despite his shortness. Or once she saw the Kais, who all have this kind of like ethereal Bishonen beauty to them, I think she'd really go for that sort of thing.
Oh my god, her going after Shin.
Master Rosie trying to flirt with Shin would lead to some hilarious antics because Shin would not know how to handle that.
Vito, I'm feeling very uncomfortable taking me out of.
Okay, let's move on. The Jurassic Show. What if a few Yardratian colonies lived on Earth since before the beginning of the series and lived alongside and amongst the humans, animal people? Dragon Ball Online. That's pretty much what they would do. They would become basically a taxi service.
Yeah, they become that where Yarvat will be destroyed. Right now, we don't know how it will be destroyed, but
yeah, but that's what they would do. They just become the taxi service, fast travel, certainly.
Probably teachers.
Yeah, true. But they'd have to be very, very discerning to who they picked, certainly. John Common. What if Chichi told Goku he could train Gohan for half of the day and all day on the weekends? That'd be a much better and more communicative relationship. End of. Seriously. Gohan would have such a best of both worlds situation right there.
I have a better what if somebody actually asked Gohan what he wanted to do?
Ah, yes. Or what if Chichi took a chill pill? That's what I'd be saying if I was 15 again.
Guys, please, You gotta understand where Chichi is coming from here.
I get it now, but when I was 15, I thought she was terrible.
No, I'm not talking to you in this case, Moss. I'm talking to everybody else. It's like, come on, cut her some slack. No mother wants her 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, hell, even her 9-year-old fighting otherworldly foes all the way up and into the Cell Saga. Gohan hasn't even hit puberty yet. He's not even in the double digits for most of that time period. And everybody just expects Chichi to go with the flow because it's the Dragon Ball universe. It's like, guys, she's a worried mother who wants the best for her son and doesn't want him reduced to being some punch-happy martial arts wannabe.
And he has
fighting monsters.
And at the age of 5, he has more of muscle mass than most of people. Most of people, most of people watching the show, and hell, if you look at it, you can also see that Gohan is more muscly and bulky than Goku was as a teen.
It's like the line from DBZ that all of that extra muscle mass would cause him horrible things to his body as he grew up if it was real life.
Alright, okay, we're getting bogged down here. Let's keep going. Haverok, what if present Trunks starts having dreams about the future timeline and effective meeting his future self as a baby? Ah yes, the good old time paradox where you're not supposed to meet your future self. They completely forgot about that in Super because they don't care about how time works. It'd be interesting in a way. So basically, it would mean that he'd almost predict that future Trunks would come back. Like, he recognizes someone, but for some reason he had blue hair. I don't get why that is. I could totally imagine Lucia doing that, all that stuff. Yeah, because he had like blue hair for some reason, and he was wearing an ascot that I totally wouldn't wear. And it's like, he was so weird, but in a way he was like me. It was really weird. But then he had like long hair. Remember last time I kind of remember him? It was just like, it's totally trippy, bro. That's how Lucia would do it.
That's not inaccurate.
But yeah,
I don't know.
we love you, Lucia. Really, it's all good.
We love you,
but basically, it's just like
we love you, Lucia.
It's a good idea in a way, but I would say probably it'd be useful if, like, Trunks gets these dreams, and it's not long before Trunks comes back to hide from Goku Black. Like, maybe he kind of senses this thing that, I'm going to be seeing him again or something like that when, like, energies collide or something like that. Could be cool.
And having present Trunks actually, sneak into the time machine and go with them to the future.
Oh.
Silly idea, to give him some story arc.
Oh, some kind of story arc. Yeah, right. So, like, totally. Alright, okay. Archimaru, what if Trunks went Super Saiyan Rose instead of Rage versus Goku Black, since he was still technically a Kai in training? Oh. That would be such an interesting parallel.
Yeah.
That would really get under Goku Black's skin.
Yeah.
That basically saying this lowly mortal would have the same power as me. What does that make me? Am I not supposed to be beautiful? You are not beautiful! I am! And I can't explain. No, Trunks would be saying, well, Goku Black, nice to meet you in Super Saiyan Rose Trunksu. I now have the British accent as well.
Did you really just say Trunksu? You've killed him, Masako.
Oh. But was it not beautiful? I am going to keep making fun of that forever. Rose gives you British accent powers. That is now canon. That's my headcanon.
You are just permanently, Super Masako Rose.
And it's okay, because I'm British. I can get away with it.
I know.
If any parties get angry, it's like, how dare you make fun of that? It's like, hi, you can't make fun of me. I am a minority. In that regard. British accent.
A minority. A minority? Excuse me, Mr. Descendant of the British Empire.
I jest. It's all bants. I don't mean to take.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Alright, let's move on now. This might be. Densetsu no Gamer Andrew Valesco. Nice name. What if Jiren wound up winning the TOP? Well, I think honestly, if he won, he would pretty much just he wished. I think he'd just do the same wish. He'd have the same wish of basically of just what 17 did, basically wish for everything to come back because he did not agree to this tournament.
He wanted Gichin back, so he would be like. So he would bring back Gichin, I think.
Hmm.
No, but...
I don't know. It's a good question because like Jiren wasn't a bad guy at his core, so maybe like.
Well, no, but he didn't agree to the Tournament of Power. So
maybe he would find a way to connect the wish of granting back the life of Master Gichin and of the other universes.
Well, basically, he probably just includes this, and bring back my master. Because it is Super Shenron, he can literally do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2. Augustus Abraham says, Goku married Bulma retcon. What if Future Bra went to the past? Kind of like Future Rants from Good Boy Raddatz. Well, I think now if I was doing a retcon of that story, I probably would do that. But we had Future Trunks, so basically, we'll kind of go with that regard. Because I kind of like what I did with that one. But if I were to ever do it again, then I would have Future Bra come back. But yeah, it pretty much would be depending if the firstborn and stuff like that in terms of the timeline. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say, Augustus. Red Dragon Force 2 comes back again. Pan would be salty with Oob, but eventually they would become friends, even best friends, and possibly more after a few more years. That's in relation to what we were talking about earlier about Oob and Pan and Gohan having initiative and stuff like that. Anime Guy 01 then says, what if Master Rosie found Baby Goku?
Well, oh gosh, okay. If Master Rosie found Baby Goku, there's really only two scenarios. One, she gives the child up because a woman her age, she's not interested in playing mother, and she would probably wind up being like, I'm no good for this kid, and give him to somebody else, maybe even Gohan or somebody else she thinks she could trust, or else he'd probably wind up in the DBZ universe's equivalent of the social care, the social welfare system, an orphanage or something like that. Number two happens, her maternal instinct kicks in, and she winds up raising Goku as her own. Problem is, this would probably wind up resulting in a similar situation to if Roshi raised Goku. Rosie would probably inadvertently wind up making Goku into a perv, except for the fact that the problem I see with it is that I can't picture very well Roshi or Rosie in this regard being able to raise a child in with any kind of effectiveness, not when they're living in hermitude. And if she were to raise Goku, I could see her raising him into an utter, well, mama's boy, or I guess in this case, a grandma's boy. But it's just, I don't even want to think about it. It's rough. It's rough.
Well, let's put you out of the misery there. Let's move on. But that's a fair point. It's a fair go, though. Anime Guy 01. Mm-hmm. What if the Z Fighters got potential unleashed by Elder Kai between Z and Super? Well, if they did, it would actually make them useful and actually be relevant to the story. Like, seriously. End of, really. If the Elder Kai did that, then basically Krillin... I think Krillin would definitely do it, as would
Tien, yeah.
Yamcha probably would get bored. Yamcha would probably be the only one that didn't do it, because he'd just be, like, really bored. Yeah, granted, he'd attempt it, but I imagine he'd probably get to 24 hours and 59 minutes and just be like, I can't take this anymore. Completely forgetting that if he just waited one more minute, he would have had it.
Yeah.
And then Elder Kai could say, well, I'm not doing that again. I don't appreciate being made a fool of. You had your chance.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that assessment, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that of all three of them, the one who would want it the most,
It's Yamcha.
even with Tien's discipline and Krillin's discipline and all that other kind of stuff, I think the one that wants it the most would be Yamcha. If anybody was going to wind up not sitting through the entirety of it, I'd say it would be Krillin. And the reason why is because Krillin has so much else going for him in his life. He doesn't actually need the martial arts or the power or anything like that in order to actually feel happy and contented. Yamcha, however, has felt like a lot of his life has ultimately gone nowhere. You know, he's living in a one-room apartment with the best friend he's had for forever, but his friends treat him like luggage. His girlfriend dumped him and married one of his murderers. I think if anybody wants it as badly enough as to stick through it no matter what, I think it's Yamcha.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point.
That is a very fair point, yeah.
I mean, I agree with both of you because, Sophie gives a very good psychological reason, but Maz gives a very Toriyama-like reason. Because Toriyama would write poor Yamcha like this.
Yeah.
Possibly.
No, I'd say so.
I could see Toriyama writing it the way that Mas made it, but I think the more true to the character aspect of it, if you really got down to it, I think that he'd stick with it.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Both things can happen. Like he could force Elder Kai to give him another chance.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. I could realistically see that. Okay, Red Dragon Force 2. What if Gohan learned multiform from Piccolo? Like, just making one copy? I think Gohan would be very, very good with that. I think he would basically use that to the full in terms of actually using it for strategy. He wouldn't resort to it just in terms of pure power, but I think he would probably use it just to kind of almost like act as a copy. I think in the Moro arc, if he had multiform in that regard, he would actually be really good. It would be such a good addition to his techniques. Long or the short of it, really. Jesse Golf, what if 17 and 18 went to the past instead of Cell? Well, if they did, then they pretty much would be just there. Everyone else would get stronger. They would end up running out of time, and then they'd end up being destroyed. Because they would have defeated
I think if 17 and 18 went to the past instead of Cell, I think what would happen is we'd wind up with a battle between past and future 17 and 18. Not because of any moral reason, but simply because they aren't interested in being quadruplets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, basically you'd have a Boris the Animal type thing, like from Men in Black 3.
Yeah.
It's like, they basically just be like, they'd bicker amongst themselves, and then 16 would have to be breaking up. It's like, now children, this is not time to fight. So, yeah, pretty much like that. You can imagine that. All right,
excuse me, who are you?
I'm the android that's about to pound your sorry ass back to the future from whence you came. Gum sound effect. So basically, okay, all right. Red Dragon Force 2. I think GT Pan inherited Ultimate Form from Gohan. Oh, okay. So Red Dragon Force 2 basically says that GT, in a theory, the reason why Pan didn't go Super Saiyan is because she inherited Ultimate from Gohan. Fair assessment. But I think Toriyama has gone on record saying, oh, Pan wouldn't have, or Pan didn't because she's a girl, or her quarter Saiyan DNA wasn't strong enough, which was that utter bull.
Now we know that he changed his.
Oh, he changed his mind. He's changed his mind now.
Yeah.
But back in the 90s, that was his 90s supposition. But no, it's a fair assessment, Red Dragon. That would be a plausible explanation. The Green Dragon Inn. What if the human Z-Fighters, Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha, were infused with Saiyan DNA, as in they gained the benefits of Saiyans? What if Krillin became a Saiyan? Go and watch that. You pretty much get that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Go on to the YouTube search bar, type in "What if the humans became Saiyans,"
And you
or
get
go to
your answer.
Masako's channel, and you get your answer.
You get your answer. Paparazzi. Oh, no. Wormy the Necromorph. What if the Z fighters, mainly from R, were sent to the Monster Hunter world without their powers? Oh, Raddatz would have a whale of a time. Like, he'd be basically just, like, riding all those big dinosaur monsters and stuff like that. He'd be having a whale of a time. I would say so.
Hey, little cat guy, let's hunt!
Oh, yeah.
And he will use Puar as those cat creatures that help.
Yeah, right?
Help.
Totally.
Yeah.
Raddatz and Poir, monster hunters.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Paparazzi. What if instead of Goten, Chichi gave birth to Azeroth? Oh. Oh, that would be... Oh. Basically, that would be even crueler punishment. You become the child of the person you hate the most.
Well, and then you also have to think about it, because in a way it would still be Goten, but in another way it's reincarnated Frieza. And if anybody knew about it, I don't think Goku would mind. Just the same way he doesn't mind that Oob is a reincarnation of Kid Buu. But I feel like Vegeta might have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Like, because it combines the two things in the universe he hates the most.
Yeah.
Goku and Frieza.
I would like to kindly object against your kid's existence, you know. It's not cool, Kakarot, you know. Like, I gave it a very long thought. And...
Yeah, I would say so.
Kakarot, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me end the life of your son.
Yeah, how about no?
I insist, Kakarot.
Well, I insist that I've got to pound your face story back to next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like that.
Also, we should probably answer what if Azeroth was 18th and Krillin's child, because we didn't got that one yet, and it's coming because that's another couple that we haven't covered yet.
Yeah,
oh wow!
No, in time will come. Anyway, let's move on. Podo, who do you think would be smarter, Goku raised by the UT characters or Boxer? UT characters. Ultimate Tenkaichi characters?
I'm trying to remember what UT, because I've got so many acronyms in my head that I can't keep straight.
Universal Tournament, Unreal Tournament.
Okay, we'll come back to that, Podo. Podo, if you can provide some clarification, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Paparazzi says, what if Oolong and Poir were turned into 17 and 18? Not transformed, but Jerome made them into androids. Oh, that would be interesting.
Oh.
Basically, androids that can transform.
Yeah.
Oh, then you would
Transformers, robots in disguise.
Yeah.
It would create an interesting dynamic, because we don't get to see a lot of that more ancient style martial arts, like the spiritual side, all that kind of stuff from early Dragon Ball. It strikes me as something that Jiro might have actually had an interest in as a scientist, to kind of study that kind of stuff, especially with like concepts about how transformation could improve the human condition. To take a person who's capable of altering their physical form and giving them the abilities that we know that the androids possess, it would serve a double purpose, because I think that they would not only be more effective as villains, but they'd also still be, you know, the friends and compatriots of the... It's kind of the same situation as with you know, if they took Krillin or anything like that, except on another level.
Okay.
Because we don't... Yeah, I mean, a whole other layer to it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Podo's come back to us about Goku raised by the Undertale characters. Thanks, Podo.
Undertale, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Goku raised by Under characters. Probably Boxer. I would say Boxer's kind of got the overall kind of thing. So pretty much, I would say Boxer. But the Undertale, I think he'd have a more wholesome personality with Undertale.
Yeah.
If it was Toriel, certainly.
Yeah.
He'd never go hungry. That's for sure. Okay, Paparazzi again. What if Bulma was a Tuffle sent to Earth to survive? Well, that would explain the brains. That's for sure. But it would be an interesting almost thing, like saying, "Well, Doctor, it turns out that you too were a space person."
I do think that the Undertale, the problem with being raised by the Undertale characters is that he'd be getting a lot of different input in different ways that wouldn't necessarily translate directly to intelligence.
Yeah.
Like any character, and if any character who's raised by the Undertale characters, this doesn't just go for the character in the question, but any character raised by the Undertale characters gets just pummeled with 1,000,001 different personalities already. And the only person that we know who was like legitimately like an intellectual character that we don't just have very vague clues about would be Alphys. And she kind of became the scientist of the underground by accident. If you're talking characters like Sans or talking characters like Gaster, who is more or less just a fan character at this point because we just don't know enough about him, I'd have to say that Undertale, being raised by Undertale characters loses out in this regard.
Okay. Well, yeah, but we have moved on to the next one, Sophie. So, but yeah, pretty much we were done. But no, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. Red Dragon Force 2. Andres Morero says, what if 16 Chip was saved mostly, and he was rebuilt as a girl due to frame restrictions and Bulma being Bulma? Oh, so basically just basically taking 16's memory, mostly, and putting it into the droid of a girl due to frame restrictions. I'm sorry, Andres, that's a bit BS, to be honest. I mean, I don't see why Bulma could not make just a 16 replica. That would just be fan service, to be honest.
It's at that point, and I get it, but at that point it kind of is just fan service because there's no reason.
It would be too weird. Like
it would. It really and even if you wanted to try and talk some more like LGBT positive situation, like with like possibility of a trans narrative, because dealing with androids and cyborgs is already transhumanist. What if you also threw in like a transgender narrative, that sort of thing? Like, I get it, but at the same time I do feel like it mostly just amounts to cheap fan service, because I don't buy that Capsule Corp has some kind of frame restriction because they have so many resources at hand.
Jesse came up with a good point. Like, maybe if Bulma took 16's chip and turned him into a robotic bird.
Ooh, now see that's
wholesome.
Yeah.
That's not only wholesome, it's kind of in keeping with the themes surrounding Android 16's character.
Yeah.
Just let him go. I am now free. Tweet.
But he still has the voice. Yeah.
Come, my fellow bird people. We fly. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Alright, Craig Twitchell. What if the androids from Future Trunks' future travel to the past? Well, we kind of already answered that. They'd basically be bickering. And basically just be like, and 16 would have to break them up. So we've already kind of answered that already. Red Dragon Force 2 goes back from Hit versus Ultimate Gohan. You've given me a challenge I haven't had in centuries. I respect that. You said your name was Gohan, right? I'll remember you. Yeah, that's a good bit of dialogue. I like that. I like that, Dragon. Nice.
You can visit my donut hut whenever you want.
Yes. Take me to
Okay. Am I missing something here? Is donuts a thing?
So when Goku paid Hit to kill him, right?
Yes.
And he's about to fight, and Hit in the dub says, "Well, time to make the donuts," and that comes from a very, very old quip of basically it's an old colloquial phrase of "time to go to work." So
which is so outside of character that
he just suddenly said it.
Yeah, it personally gives me the vibe of like if Shelly the Killer from Ace Attorney series dressed up as Ice Killer. I always imagine that Hit's front business is like a donut stand when he's like assassin.
Guys, if you ever go to a convention and Matt Mercer's there, just give him donuts.
Yeah.
Just give him purple glazed donuts.
Well, now I understand, but I also know why I didn't recognize it as like a thing. It's because I've never seen Super's dub except for Copy Vegeta because of Brian Drummond.
Oh, okay.
I love him.
Oh. And our last one, Paparacha. What if Azirath was Krillin and 18's daughter? Hey, so we did get it. Haverok, do you want to take this one?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Well, go ahead.
yeah. So she would try to dominate Krillin, but 18 would try to have a hard hand on her, basically, and try to not make her too spoiled. But poor Krillin would be really, really terrified of his own daughter. He would love her, but she would she would be a little baby boss, basically.
Oh no, basically, 18 says, nobody dominates Krillin but me. Woo! Woohoo! Something like that. It's like,
Wow.
Now that I can get behind.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
You know Krillin would be like
Well,
that.
And if Marin was Azirath, it might actually give her a little bit more agency to be involved in the plot of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we do have one more. Red Dragon comes in with, what if Azirath was Pan's twin sister? Oh, wow.
Da, da, da.
What a twist! It would be literally like that. That is just one of the, that's a random one. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am Frieza, but I'm also your granddaughter. Da, da, da.
Wow, that's trippy. It's like, well, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, that'd be really trippy. But anyway, that is us all done for another week. Thank you all so much for your contributions. Thank you, Haverok and Sophie, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and right
Thank
at this last
you.
minute, Totally Not Mark just showed up.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Someone had to.
Yeah, someone had to.
I'm surprised. I'm really pleased with myself at Sayacon. I didn't do that to him once.
I did.
Well, I'm proud that I didn't. So there you go. Oh man. So but yeah, no, Mark, you came at the wrong time. We literally just finished up. So I mean, yeah, I think some of you guys, don't worry, Totally Mark. Yeah, it's gonna be on archive. And hey, maybe you should come on sometime.
Also,
Yeah,
check out
absolutely.
Also, if you somehow live under the rock, check out Mark's channel. He's awesome.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, he's been reviewing GT, so you don't have to.
Yeah. And it broke him.
It did break him a lot.
Yeah.
Mark does good content, and because I've been away, I haven't had the opportunity to see this breaking by GT, so I'm going straight there after this stream.
So, okay, everybody. Now, coming up next is Geekdom's doing a 2020 prediction live stream coming up shortly, so head on over there. And basically, just take care of yourself, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we shall see you. Haverok and I will be, at the very least, we'll be doing Kakarot tomorrow at about 1 p.m. Eastern, roughly. And basically,
I might pop in.
Sophie, if you want to pop in for a little bit, you can stay for as long as you want. Feel free. Anyway, we shall see you tomorrow, everyone. Take care and have a good night. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.